KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington, where President Trump has put thousands of National Guard troops on the streets to fight crime. And he says he may put troops in Chicago next. CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
President Trump mentioned Chicago 3 times on social media, warning the Illinois governor to straighten out crime fast or we're coming. This weekend alone, more than 50 people were shot in Chicago, though the murder rate has fallen by 50% over the past 4 years.
Well, now that summer break has ended, lawmakers are back on Capitol Hill today getting to work. Christopher Cruz reports.
Members of the House and Senate have a packed fall agenda. The most urgent task will be to pass a funding bill to avoid a government shutdown at the end of this month. No one knows if Republicans and Democrats will be able to agree on how to do that. And the Senate is considering changing its rules to get around Democrats stalling on President Trump's nominations.
Longtime New York Congressman Jerry Nadler's decided not to seek re-election next year.
The 78-year-old Democrat tells the New York Times it's time for generational change in his party and maybe a younger successor can do better. During his 34 years on Capitol Hill, Nadler has chaired the House Judiciary Committee and helped lead the impeachment efforts against President Trump.
Indeed, it is clear that any other citizen of this country who behaved as the president has would have been charged with multiple crimes.
Nadler says other aging Democrats in the House should also retire, but he didn't name them. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Ryan Ruth will be in court for a hearing today. He's the man charged with trying to assassinate then-candidate Donald Trump on his golf course last year. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
He's going to be representing himself. A judge is fully aware that, in fact, if Ruth gets the opportunity, he will turn this trial into a circus where he weighs his character against that of President Trump.
The death toll from an earthquake in Afghanistan has risen to more than 1,400 now. Several thousand others were injured from the 6.0 magnitude quake. After a whole lot of hype, Bill Belichick did not have a very good start as a college football coach on home turf in Chapel Hill when his North Carolina Tar Heels were blown out by the TCU Horned Frogs 48-14.
Obviously, we have a lot of work to do. I need to do a better job all the way around, coaching, playing, all 3 phases of the game. Just wasn't up to what it needs to be.
Over 50,000 people came out to watch the game, including big names like Randy Moss, Michael Jordan, Roy Williams, Lawrence Taylor, and more. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
It is 6:03, and right now we could be getting a little bit of rain in the area. It's just cloudy and 63 degrees now in downtown St. Louis. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's first go to Roger Brand. We've had a crash in the Metro East for the last few hours, causing a backup there, Roger.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. It occurred around 2:40 this morning. A tractor trailer and a car went underneath a semi, so it's a real serious crash. And they have westbound 55-64 shut down just before the King Bridge exit on the Illinois side. You can take 70 across the Musial Veterans Bridge, wide open, but we are getting delays in the area because of that closure, and we'll have more in traffic at 6:10.
Police say a child is in stable condition after being shot Monday night in the Hamilton Heights neighborhood of St. Louis. An adult drove the victim from the scene in the 5500 block of Martin Luther King Drive to a nearby gas station asking for help. If you have any information, Crime Stoppers is accepting tips.
Meanwhile, St. Louis police say an adult man died in a separate shooting Monday evening. It happened just after 6 o'clock in the 4400 block of Marcus. Homicide is handling that investigation.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe calling a special session to begin tomorrow to redraw the state's congressional maps to give the Republicans another seat and to make it harder for voters to amend the state constitution. KMOX asked, what can Democrats do?
Fleeing the state is not an option like it was for Texas Democrats, with the Republican majority large enough to establish a quorum in Missouri. Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck says they could filibuster, but he is concerned Republicans would end all debate by calling for a previous question. He says it is hard to trust Republicans.
People say, well, you're going to try to make a deal with them. Like, who do I make a deal with? Because there's nobody I trust. there's nobody to trust. They lied to us.
Minority Whip Brian Williams hopes they are allowed to debate these proposals, saying the initiative petition proposal hurts voters.
Government should be empowering voters, should be giving Missourians the opportunity to make sure their voices are heard through the democratic process. And right now they're being silenced.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A former downstate Illinois congressman is helping lead the charge to alter the way his state draws legislative maps. Republican Ray LaHood told Capital News Illinois he wants to ask voters in November 2026 for a constitutional amendment that puts the work in the hands of a commission.
A commission will be appointed by the state legislators. It will include 4 state legislators, but it will include a total of 12 members, 8 of which will be citizens from Illinois.
This would just be for state lawmaker district boundaries, not congressional. Petition signatures are due in May.
Health practitioners say they've seen more clients suffering with body image issues and eating disorders in the past 5 years.
Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition, tells KMOX there was a big surge in eating disorders during the pandemic.
There was a desire for people to try and prevent weight gain or to lose weight that they had gained during the pandemic, and that really amped up eating disorders.
Wilson says that's likely compounded by increased social media use during the pandemic as well. Body image issues and eating disorders don't always go hand in hand. Wilson says red flags for body image disorders include changing clothes often and measuring or weighing yourself often. Warning signs for eating disorders include skipping meals, eating alone, or having rituals around eating. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Now KMOX follow-up on the initiative that is hoped to bridge the Medicaid funding gap coming from the federal government after the announcement of a partnership between BioSTL and Washington University to find startups with solutions to lower the cost of delivering healthcare for rural providers. Michael Calhoun called up BioSTL's Don Rubin to ask whether there's funding to attract those startups to town.
Are there financial incentives? Are there investors, I guess, that are lined up? And I'm kind of thinking about what has happened at the state level with MTC, kind of what's,
Yeah. So, of course, we work with MTC, Missouri Technology Corporation, very closely. I'm the longest serving board member. In fact, I've been on that board for 20 years, and it's done amazing things in supporting startups and our local entrepreneur infrastructure. And that will remain important. In this case, we're talking about accessing innovation from anywhere in the world, attracting it to St. Louis because of what we have here, our ecosystem, our quality of life, the cost of living. I like to call that the capital efficiency. An innovator who comes to St. Louis can get so much further with their startup.
Rubin says this could further make St. Louis a health tech hub.
It is 6:08, and we'll get another check of traffic and weather coming up next here on Total Information AM.
You all remember me mentioning my wife's thermostat being broke because of the the change of women evidently have to go through, which is horrible. People called me asking me how did she feel about me sharing her insanity. I did notice seeing her looking through a fork at me. So, hey guys, if your wife, your girlfriend, your better half is looking through a fork at you, look it up. Why? You're going to be shocked. But she's still happy that she's got air conditioning. So you need help. You need pricing. Somebody told you need new equipment. Remember, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. But guys, look up wives looking through forks at husband. You better change your program around. God bless.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
The highway shut down in the Metro East. Back to Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's still no change there, Tom. The 5570 crash that occurred around 2:40 this morning, westbound just before the King Bridge exit, 5564 is shut down there because of that crash involved multiple vehicles, possibly even a wrong-way driver. So, but the end result was a car ended up underneath a semi. There were injuries to numerous people. They were transported to area hospitals, and so it's still shut down as the investigation and the cleanup of the crash continues. So 64 is jammed as you get into that interchange there with 70, and 5570 is backed up at about exchange. You can take 70 across the Mutual Veterans Bridge. That's wide open. That looks great. But again, traffic's just sort of built up at the merge point because of the crash and people trapped in the jam behind it. So it'll probably get a little worse before it gets better. And right now, there's still no change there. It is still shut down. They cleared this crash on the exit ramp. Some good news over in the northwest corner here. The ramp from North 270 to the Rock Road, they cleared that crash over to the shoulder at the intersection now. So the ramp is open and traffic's moving a lot better through there. Those are the only places we had troubles recently. Of course, the highways are wet with this light rain. Next update at 6:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a shower or two in the area this morning. Otherwise, intervals of clouds and sun today with a high of 84. Mainly clear tonight, though 62. Tomorrow, sunshine will fade beyond increasing clouds. A breezy, very warm afternoon, high 87. Look for a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow night. Thursday, partly to mostly sunny and not as warm, but a nice day, the high 76. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's just mostly cloudy and 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. The weather sponsored by Dave Sinclair Buick GMC. Dave Sinclair and Urology of St. Louis will host free prostate screenings tomorrow from 4 to 6:30. Stop by the Buick store from 4 to 6:30 on September 3rd. The life you save may be yours or your loved one.
It's 6:12. Mercy South has one of the St. Louis region's busiest emergency departments, and they are undergoing a $75 million expansion that will almost double the square footage. Last week, Mercy South was averaging 200 patients in the ER a day. That is about 6,300 visits a month. One reason for the increase is the hospital's stroke program. They say it's the busiest in the area with more stroke patients than any other hospital in the state. The expansion project is expected to be done by spring 2027.
Missouri's new public defender system director says his goal is to recruit and retain attorneys, but for that to happen, state lawmakers have to release funding. Matthew Kroll has been a public defender for 17 years. He says COVID really took a toll on the system, but they have made substantial progress since then.
We are doing much better at getting people in the door, but we're not doing a great job of keeping them. And so I want to work on getting our retention, getting our turnover rate down, because right now it varies, but it gets close to 20% turnovers.
Kroll says if you are represented by a public defender, odds are you will not have the same attorney throughout your case. And he says that's not fair to poor people who are criminally charged.
I think we can help fix or do a lot to fix that problem by encouraging pay parity.
Kroll tells MissouriNet they had asked for 45 mitigation specialists who work with offenders. That number was reduced to just 10 by Governor Kehoe.
With sources telling CBS News that a major federal immigration operation could begin this week in Chicago, thousands of residents took to the streets Monday to push back against the Trump administration. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez has the latest on the conflict between the city and the federal government.
You're supposed to serve the people. We are the people.
Over the long weekend, President Trump mentioned Chicago 3 times on social media, warning the Illinois governor to straighten out crime fast or we're coming. This weekend alone, more than 50 people were shot in Chicago, though the murder rate has fallen by 50% over the past 4 years.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson began his protest rally remarks Monday by declaring no federal troops in the city of Chicago.
The people united will always prevail. I need you all to stand firm, to stand strong. If this president decides to continue to break this Constitution, it's going to be the labor movement that stitches it back together. The labor movement that brings black folks, white folks, Asians. It brings brown folks together.
6:15, an announcement. The Gas House Gang will have a special guest today. Cardinals hitting coach Brant Brown will join Ollie Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and me for a roundtable about the Cardinals' development, their hitting, and what to look for in the future. The Cardinals' present right now isn't looking very good. They lost 11-3. Got walloped on Labor Day by the Athletics. Sonny Gray gave up 7 runs in this ball game. Gray 7 runs on 10 hits in his 6 innings, walked 3 and struck out 5. And the Cardinals, hitting-wise, had 3 runs on 8 hits. Their hits, Lars Nootbaar, he was 3 for 4 yesterday, scored a run. Ivan Herrera hit a home run, his 12th of the year. Other than that, just hits for Wynn, Sajasi, Pajes. Jose Fermin had one as well. Fermin's hitting 346 off the bench for this club. But the Cardinals saw Jordan Walker go 0 for 4 with a couple of Ks. We're going to ask Brant Brown about a lot of this and what these players are looking like, what he does to try to get them right, and about the development of these younger players moving into the future. Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at 12:05. That's the first time the Cardinals lost a Monday game since June. They had gone 6-0 after the All-Star break on Mondays. Kind of an oddity there, but they dropped the ball game. 6:45 start tonight. Miles Michaelis throws the first pitch for St. Louis. Luis Severino will start for the Athletics at Busch Stadium. Bill Belichick, well, things did not get off to a good start for him. In his first game as a college coach, North Carolina got blown out 48-14 at home by TCU. There was a suite that featured Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, and Roy Williams. That is North Carolina royalty right there. But right now, Belichick is getting laughed at on social media. The Tar Heels scored a touchdown on the first possession, but the Horned Frogs scored 41 straight points. We're talking about one of the greatest coaches in football history, won 6 Super Bowls as head coach of the Patriots, but this is his first time as a college coach. He's 73 years old, and much of North Carolina's sellout crowd headed for the exits long before the start of the fourth quarter. Naomi Osaka eliminated Coco Gauff at the U.S. Open 6-3, 6-2 to reach her first Grand Slam quarterfinal in more than 4.5 years. Venus Williams is into the U.S. Open women's doubles quarterfinals with Leila Fernandez and now wants her old partner to come back. She says it's time for Serena Williams to come see a match. Williams making the plea for her younger sister to show up after she and Fernandez beat a 12th-seeded duo 6-3, 6-4. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When it comes to tuning up your garage door, there's only one place to go, and that's Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They tune up all brands of garage doors, residential and commercial. They've been around for almost a century. The red ribbon is how you set them apart from everybody else. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original. Same-day service, 7 days a week. I talk a lot about the service and the tune-ups, but let's talk about the product for just a minute. Great looks meeting rock-solid engineering. Beauty, security, energy efficiency you can trust. A new garage door. If you're looking for one, look no further than Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They offer thousands of styles, materials, colors, hardware options to help you bring your unique vision to life. So when you go for a garage door replacement in St. Louis, you will work with expertly trained specialists who find creative solutions for your most unique challenges. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
620. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. And it may be a rough go for Illinois commuters this morning, Roger.
Yeah, it just depends on how long they're going to be out there, Debbie. I mean, this crash occurred around 2:40 this morning. This traffic report's a service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, but involved multiple cars, and one of the cars ended up underneath a semi. There were injuries, and of course, there's an ongoing investigation and cleanup of the crash. So it's still shut down. We're talking about 5564 westbound, just west of the 70 split before you get to the Kingbridge exit. That's where it's closed. There's traffic trapped behind it, backed up to the interchange there at the 70 split. So 64 westbound now is on the brakes at Ball Avenue and 5570 Exchange. So the jams are slowly growing. Again, 70 across the Mutual Veterans is wide open. The alternate route looks great right now, but it's just jammed coming into the area because of the restrictions there, because that westbound side is shut down right near the King Bridge. Northbound Highway 55 got a little volume. Bayless up to River to Pear. Starting to see some slow stuff there, as well as Butler Hill Madison, the right lanes. North 270 a little crowded. Approaching Manchester, eastbound 64 a little busy. Passing Prospect out west right now as well. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year young mutual company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather, we saw a little bit of rain, and we're going to see a little bit of that here this morning, and then it moves out sunny and some clouds, a high of 84. Mainly clear, low 62 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine, followed by increasing clouds. Breezy, very warm in the afternoon tomorrow, high 87. But after some rain tomorrow night, we're only going to get a high of 76 on Thursday. It is going to be an ideal, almost fall-like day in early September. Currently, we have some rain, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. It's 6:22. Crime writer Karen Slaughter has sold more than 40 million books, has more than 20 instant New York Times best-selling novels, including the Will Trent series that's a hit show on ABC. Her latest is called We Are All Guilty Here, the first book in her new North Falls series. She tells Debbie Monterrey the town is run by the powerful Clifton family, which was inspired by a real powerful family in the news.
Probably familiar with, and that's the Murdaugh murders happening in the Carolinas. And I thought about small towns and how we love small towns, and we love this idea as Americans of these dynastic families. And sometimes they're bad. Sometimes after a few generations, they take a little too much for themselves, or they get the idea that they're above the law. And that was really the genesis for starting We Are All Guilty Here. And the North Falls series is to talk about this family, the Cliftons, in this small county in southwestern Georgia. And there are good Cliftons and bad Cliftons, and there are rich Cliftons and poor Cliftons, and they're everywhere in the city. They're in law enforcement, the prosecutor's office, the defender's office, everywhere you would think that a family probably shouldn't have that much control. They're in control.
Why do we love crime stories, Karen?
I can only speak for myself. And I think as a woman, we're raised from a very young age to be aware of crime in a way that young boys are not. When my nephew went to college, his mom said, okay, don't get drunk and don't get a girl pregnant. And then when my niece went to college, there was a big sit down and don't do this and don't do that and be careful of this. And, all these sorts of things that we learn as women to be aware of that we don't often think about. And, true crime and crime novels reinforce those lessons. I think it's a little cathartic to think, wow, I'm so glad that didn't happen to me. But also, I think that women are very puzzle oriented. They like figuring out puzzles. They want to know why people do the things they do and why relationships splinter and why they come together and all these world building sorts of things that crime novels do.
You are also the founder of the Save the Library project. Libraries have been under attack lately. I don't have to tell you. What do you do with Save the Libraries project?
Our mission is twofold. Initially, we started in 2008 to try to give money to libraries in need because of the economic downturn, which was very devastating for public services, particularly libraries. And they're so important. When the economy is in the toilet, that's the time you need libraries most. People still need the pleasure of reading. Children still need a place to go. There are so many different things, as you know, that the library offers the community outside of books. Many children relied on hotspots during the pandemic from their library in order to be at school virtually. But the second part of the mission is developed because of, I'll just call them lunatics who are out there trying to ban books and who are calling in death threats to librarians and libraries, and who are just so angry that there are books at the library that they don't like. And I am encouraging people to use their voice because there are more of us than there are of them. There's no time in the history of recorded man when someone who wants to ban a book has been the good guy. And libraries are meant to serve the entire community. So if you have a lot of people who read the Bible in your community, your library is going to have the Bible. If you have someone who is interested in otters, there should be a book on otters in that library. And if you are someone who doesn't want to read a book on otters, that doesn't give you a right to tell other people, parents in particular, that their children should not read about otters. And so what I'm telling the people now, in addition to giving money to our wonderful library foundations and trying to raise money for your local branch, use your voice to support the librarians and the libraries, because without them, we're not really a functioning society.
That's Karen Slaughter, a guest on Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
McKelvey Homes is extremely proud of its reputation for designing and building the finest quality in home construction. It's Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes, founded in 1898. Missouri's oldest home builder. Be assured that your home has been built according to McKelvey Homes' demanding standards of quality. Not only are they proud of the quality of their homes, but they're also proud that they back their homes with one of the finest customer service programs available in the housing industry. It's their sincere desire to provide you with the excellence in warranty service that you expect from McKelvey Homes. Your McKelvey Homes new home guarantee outlines warranty standards for the items covered under the 1-year warranty and a 10-year structural warranty. They call it a 110 guarantee. The McKelvey Homes New Home Maintenance Guide outlines how to care and maintain your new McKelvey home, and these homes are absolutely beautiful. McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/JOY.
Hey guys, Glover here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is the perfect season to tackle those home improvement projects before the weather turns cold. And if your windows are old, drafty, or just plain inefficient, now's the time to finally do something about it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no limit whether you need 4 or 14, you only pay for half. And to make it even easier, you'll get 0% financing for 3 years, so no interest, no pressure. So don't wait for the first freeze to realize your windows aren't cutting it. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got cloudy skies, 63 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We've got a real problem in the Metro East. Roger Brand has been watching it all morning. Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and there's still no change there, Tom. Well, the volume is building, obviously, but the change in the crashes and hasn't altered any since it occurred this morning around 2:40 when a semi was involved with multiple cars. One of the cars ended up underneath the semi. There were multiple injuries, and I believe even the driver of the semi was injured. Anyway, the cleanup and investigation work continue there. So this is 5564 westbound just before the King Bridge exit. So it's been shut down since 2:40 this morning. 64 now is jammed at 25th Street, and 5570 is jammed at about 203. Again, 70s are alternate route, obviously, and it's slow at the Illinois end of the Musial Veterans Bridge westbound, but it is still moving. It's not jammed going across there, but again, the backups are getting worse for Illinois drivers if you're headed into the heart of downtown. If you're heading in on northbound 55, you have a backup from McNutt up to the Joachim Creek. It's a little slow in the right lanes through Butler Hill, and all lanes are heavy from the Union Road overpass up through River to Pear, northbound 270, north of Big Bend up through Manchester. That's kind of slow. Southbound 61, seeing some heavy pockets from Highway P down on the 64 through Prospect. It opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather today, we could see a shower or two in the area this morning. We did see some sprinkles earlier, but otherwise clouds and sun today, 84, a little warmer tomorrow, 87. But then a couple of showers and a thunderstorm tomorrow night is what's going to cool things down for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when we are in the mid-70s. It's 63 right now.
It's 6:32. In just 3 months, you can legally wager on sports in Missouri.
If you're new to sports gambling and interested in participating, it won't be difficult, according to Missouri Gaming Commission Chair Jan Zimmerman.
You're there at the stadium and you're using that platform that that stadium has partnered with, or you pick one of these untethered licenses. I think that they make it so simple for the wagerer that, it should be fairly easy.
So far, DraftKings and Circa Sports have been chosen as sports books allowed to operate without partnering with a casino or professional team. Zimmerman says the Gaming Commission was happy to see those platforms and others say they will share information about prohibited gamblers. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
With a special session beginning tomorrow in Jefferson City, Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck says many Republicans understand risks that come with redrawing the congressional map in an attempt to flip Democrat Emanuel Cleaver's seat. He says despite that, pressure from the White House could cause them to vote against their best interests.
There's some true believers, but I believe a lot of them know that. But they're also, quite frankly, they're more afraid of Donald Trump than they are of anything else. And that's what they're doing. They're doing whatever he's told them to do, and that's point blank. That's been proven.
Asked if he knows if any Republicans would vote against either initiative petition reform or redistricting, Minority Whip Brian Williams said it's too soon to tell.
Starbucks continues adding new locations in the region. One is popping up in Troy, Illinois, along Edwardsville Road. One opened recently on Clayton Road in Town and Country, and another on Lindbergh and Baptist Church in South County. According to the Business Journal, there are at least 66 Starbucks locations in the St. Louis area. 2 shut down last year, one at Ballpark Village and in the Expo at Forest Park.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Coming up next, we'll get you your money report from Bloomberg. And did you win the Powerball? We've got an update on that. It's 6:34.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust. Someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News & World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour with Lynch or to RSVP for our senior prom on September 24th with live entertainment by the Backstreet Cruisers. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
At 6:35, your money report, sponsored by Eamon Ganner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
Good morning. This report is sponsored by Fidelity. President Trump says India offered to slash its tariff rate to 0 after Washington doubled the rate on India to 50%. The president said in a Truth Social posting that it's getting late and India should have cut its rates years ago. He did not indicate whether the White House would reopen trade talks with that country. Walmart has beefed up its perks available to members of its Walmart Plus paid membership program. The Comcast Peacock premium streaming service will be added to the Paramount Plus Essential service later this month. Members will be able to switch between the two services every 90 days. And 50 years after it first appeared in theaters, Jaws can still draw moviegoers. Universal's anniversary re-release took second place at theaters over the Labor Day weekend, with ticket sales topping $8 million. Weapons from Warner Brothers held on to first place, taking in another $10 million. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Athletics, Cameron Total Access 550, Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:38, and we will get you updated on traffic and weather. It looks wet downtown, so just be careful if you're out and about. If you change your outfits a lot during the day, you may be suffering from body image issues. This is Body Image and Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition, says there are a lot of potential warning signs for both.
Distress surrounding the way that their body looks. They might have body checking behaviors like pinching or measuring or weighing themselves regularly. So I would say that those are the key things to maybe look out for related to body image. And relating to eating disorders, I would say skipping meals or snacks, eating separately from others, secretive behavior, and even food table behaviors or food rituals, cutting things into super tiny bites or eating super slowly or super quickly.
Wilson says her core focus for clients is body neutrality, teaching people that their body serves an important purpose.
The Powerball jackpot has risen to an estimated $1.3 billion after the winning numbers failed to appear Monday night. That long winless streak has allowed the prize to swell to the fifth largest in the game's history. The odds of matching all six numbers are 1 in 292 million. You can do it.
I can do it. Or not. You can't win if you don't play, and I don't play. But maybe I will. I don't know. If I remember. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. It's time to get a look at the roadways in the Metro East and around the region.
Yeah, that's where the trouble still is, Debbie. Unfortunately, this traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. We've got this crash that occurred about 2:40 this morning on westbound 5564. Was originally initiated by a wrong-way driver that led to a crash involving a semi and one of the vehicles underneath the semi. So the cleanup and investigation work continues. It's 5564 right near the King Bridge exit, so it's shut down there. Traffic on 5570 is jammed at 203. 64 is jammed back through 25th Street. Mutual Veterans Bridge is your alternate route interstate-wise, and it's heavy from Packers Avenue across to the Missouri side and then exiting into downtown from there. So it's getting busier for Illinois drivers, unfortunately, if you're headed that way. Just be prepared. Northbound 55, a backup through McNutt. There's a little jam again at the Joachim Creek. Looks like there could be trouble there. It's back from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. North 270 approaching Test on Ferry to Gravois. Big Bend up through Manchester. That's all slow. Out west, southbound 61 delays. Approaching Highway P. Goes down to onto 64 to about Prospect. It opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, eastbound 70. A little busy through that Highway Z area. Past that merge point, there's also a crash reported on 70 eastbound near Natural Bridge. So we have a jam back through the airport almost to Cypress if you're headed into that area right now. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg joins us now, and with a lot of activity coming this weekend with NASCAR and PGA Champions Tour and Cardinals and St. Louis City SC and everything else, slew, bronze boot, all the things happening around town. It's going to be beautiful weather, isn't it, Joe?
It really is, Tom. We're expecting a cold front to come through the area tomorrow night, and with it a couple of showers and a thunderstorm opening the door to cooler air, and it will be reinforced by a second front that comes through the area Friday night and early Saturday. So that's just going to set the stage for some great weather for the weekend for all of these activities that you've mentioned. A shower or two this morning, none of it particularly heavy, but with a lot of clouds around it, temperature will be slow to rise. Then with more sun this afternoon, it dries out. We get to 84. A clear night ahead, low 62. We start with sunshine tomorrow, clouds increase. It's the warmest day that we're going to see for quite a while at 87. Mentioned a couple of showers, perhaps a thunderstorm tomorrow night. That's with the lead front behind it. Partly to mostly sunny Thursday, the high 76. Clouds increase Friday, maybe an afternoon shower, high 77. Sunny, beautiful for Saturday, the high 74. 63 at St. Peter, 64 in Florissant, cloudy, 68 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:43. We sound like California broadcast, like, oh my gosh, it's rain. I can't believe it. What's going on?
Well, it's been so long since it's rained. I actually had the sprinklers going yesterday because it was getting a little dusty out there. The news continues at 6:43. City police say a man was shot dead in the Penrose neighborhood Monday night. That's near I-70 in North St. Louis. That shooting occurred in the 4400 block of Marcus just after 6 o'clock. Homicide detectives have been assigned to that case.
45 mitigation specialists in the last budget cycle That number was reduced ultimately to 10 by the governor, which we were very grateful for the 10.
Missouri's new director of the state's public defender system, Matthew Kroll, right there talking with Missouri Net about his goals and challenges. In addition to attracting attorneys, retention is a big problem, generally because of the low pay and caseloads. Mitigation specialists are the people who help the defendants kick their addictions and essentially put them on a path where they do not commit more crimes. But a lack of funding is a big issue.
One of the great things that happened, and I guess people can agree or disagree whether or not marijuana should have been legalized. I'm not really taking a position on that, but what I'm very thankful for as the director of the public defender and as a public defender is that a portion of the tax revenue that people pay when they buy recreational marijuana goes to the public defender to the tune of 1/3 of, I think, 4%, which has equated into millions of dollars. But the legislature has to approve the expenditures that we want to make of that money. And so they've held back, and they've held back in part because I think rightfully so, they say we didn't really have a plan to spend the money. And of course, we want to make sure that we're good stewards of taxpayer money. So we are working on a plan to show the legislature that we have good intentions with this money. It's going to go to good things. One of those things would be the pay parity. So we believe that's a good use of that money to help keep public defenders around. We've used some of the marijuana. We were approved this year by the governor and the legislature to hire those 10 mitigation specialists using marijuana money. And so these things we believe we can do with that resource that's been made available by the voters and taxpayers of this state. So it won't be any additional revenue to our core budget. This is money that's already been, in a lot of respects, already been gathered through the tax revenue that's been generated. And we believe it'll be an ongoing, collection so that we can continue to fund these positions and these things that we need with the marijuana revenue.
Time for Cardinal baseball. 6:45 start tonight as Miles Michaelis takes the hill. The Cardinals are going to try to get one back from the Athletics after losing 11-3 yesterday. Sonny Gray got knocked around for 7 runs yesterday. Cardinals starting pitching has had its challenges. One of those who has emerged is Michael McGreevy. He has actually pitched really well. I had a chance to catch up with him yesterday in the Cardinals dugout. And the first thing we talked about was his former minor league catcher, Jimmy Crooks, going deep for his first major league hit.
Yeah, I was so happy for Jimmy. I feel like I was the last one to hear the news about Jimmy and Caesar coming up, but so unbelievably happy for him. Having a first homer as your first hit is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool just being in the show. And now what will he experience? What do people experience? And what did you experience as those weeks went on at this level?
Yeah. Last year I was, get that debut in July, but then go back down. But the last 2 weeks, I was lucky to have just a great clubhouse, very welcoming, especially with the vets like Gibby, Miles, Matt, guys like that, just really making you feel comfortable, really sets you up for the years to come. And this year we have a great clubhouse, a lot of young guys, which is amazing. Guys have been with in high A, double A, and triple A over the years in my time in the minors. But just seeing more young guys come about, I think Jimmy and Caesar will just become more comfortable just seeing those guys they've played with in the minors.
One thing I observe about you, and I think about pitchers in general, is how do you respond when things don't go well? There was a game here not long ago where you gave up a couple of home runs to the Pirates, but you rallied and the team rallied behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, it helps to have a good offense behind you, always willing to bounce back for you. Knowing the game's not over, even if you put them in a hole early, that's been a big point of emphasis for me this year, really starting off strong those first 3 innings. Obviously, the big leagues is tough. Best hitters in the world, they're going to make you pay for mistakes early on. But, just knowing that the game's not over, knowing my pitch count was still low despite back-to-back homers, knowing that I had a job to do as a starting pitcher, and my job is to go deep in the game, save the bullpen, really try to suffocate the other team, knowing that I'm still out here. We're still trying to win. And once we took the lead, kind of knew the game was over just by how I kept going and kept building.
We appreciate your time very much. Thank you for this, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Michael McGreevy, the Cardinals starter. He'll get a start in the next series. Matthew Liberatore is going to start the game on Wednesday against the Athletics. Cardinals will have the day off on Thursday. Then McGreevy will open the series against the Giants this coming Friday. It is Hall of Fame weekend for the Cardinals as well. Al Raboski, Edgar Renteria, Walt Jockety going into the hall. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. They want to remind you, as we start to get closer to Halloween, to make sure that you recycle your pumpkins. Each year, about 1.3 billion pounds of pumpkins end up in landfills. Well, you can drop off your old pumpkins to St. Louis Composting, and they will make them into compost. Don't toss your pumpkin. Bring it to St. Louis Composting instead. Starting October 1st, you can drop off your old pumpkins for free at any of their 9 retail locations. It's St. Louis Composting. You can find those locations at stlcompost.com. And when you do, you'll get a $10 coupon toward your next purchase. More details are on their website, stlcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, let's get a look at the roadways right now. The roads here in downtown St. Louis are wet, but it looks like the skies are clearing up anyway. Hopefully the traffic is clearing up as well. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our restrictions downtown, unfortunately, Debbie. These traffic reports, the service of Saks Financial, 5564 is still shut down right past the Kingbridge exit because of an overnight crash involving a semi. Cleanup and investigation continuing. 5570 is jammed at 203. 64 is backed up approaching 25th Street, about 37th Street now. Musial Veterans Bridge looks pretty good. Earlier, we had some slow traffic going across. Right now, it doesn't look bad there at all, so that alternate route is doing all right for the time being, at least. Northbound Highway 55, you got backed up traffic in pockets. McNutt up to the Joachim Creek. It's backed up again from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. North 270 as you ramp on from 55 to Tess on Ferries. Heavy approaching 44 all the way up through Manchester. That's slow. Southbound 61, almost midway between W and P, is heavy pockets down onto 64. 64, some slow stuff east of Winghaven, and 94 to Research Park after that. Eastbound 70 from Z into 64 slow. A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and you have a jam. Well, there's a slowdown at Cave Springs, but a jam from east of 270 in through. Well, there's a crash at Natural Bridge in the right lane, but it looks like we have a new crash now at Cypress. So there's double trouble there on eastbound 70. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
The sun is shining on downtown now, and we've had a shower or two before that. Intervals of clouds and sun today, high of 84, mainly clear, low 62 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine followed by increasing clouds, very warm in the afternoon, a high of 87. It'll be an interesting day because Wednesday night we get showers and a thunderstorm likely. And then Joe Lundberg says Thursday, partly to mostly sunny and a high of only 76. Currently, it's 64 downtown.
The news continues at 6:53. Hurricane season brings new developments, including a storm in the Pacific.
Hurricane Kiko has formed in the eastern Pacific. The storm is more than 1,800 miles east of Hawaii, but moving slowly westward, packing winds of 75 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center forecasts that Kiko will strengthen over the next few days, but poses no immediate threat to land. Meteorologists are also keeping an eye on a system dubbed Tropical Depression 12E with a high probability of becoming a tropical storm headed towards southwestern Mexico and Baja California Sur. And in the Atlantic, a disturbance near the Cabo Verde Islands headed west-northwest has a 60% chance of organizing into a tropical depression within a week. I'm Jennifer King.
The Trump administration's immigration policies are reshaping the U.S. workforce. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Dan Cluffer.
According to analysis conducted by the Pew Research Center, preliminary numbers from the Census Bureau show that the number of immigrant workers declined by 1.2 million between January and the end of July. That number includes migrants in the country illegally and legal residents. In recent days, the Trump administration signaled it's looking to step up immigration enforcement in more U.S. cities.
A report reveals that more than 14,000 migrants, mainly Venezuelans, have reversed their journey to the U.S. and headed back south since President Trump took office. This reverse flow migration is due to stricter U.S. border policies. The return journey is dangerous, with migrants facing financial struggles and threats from criminal groups.
Well, Bill Belichick's college football coaching debut was a rough one.
His North Carolina Tar Heels got off to a rousing start. Touchdown Heels! ESPN had the call as North Carolina opened the game with a 7-play, 83-yard touchdown drive against TCU, but it was all Horned Frogs after that.
Touchdown TCU, 75 yards and no flags.
TCU won 48-14.
They just outplayed us. They outcoached us. I mean, they were just better than we were tonight. That's all there was to it.
The 6-time Super Bowl champion coach says his team has a lot of work to do. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Christy Madison. Also, Hermie Kroll turning 96 today. Happy birthday from Allie, Joe, Betsy, and Jack.
Terry Bradshaw, Pro Football Hall of Famer, longtime host on TV on Fox, and before that, CBS. He is 77 today. Belleville native. We talked about him earlier, actually, when I was discussing the MAC Sports Personality of the Year back in the day, 1991. He won it. Jimmy Connors, celebrating a birthday today. He is 73.
It's the best birthday ever.
Gloria Lou is who you need to call if you have a home to sell. Why? Because Gloria has the buyers. In fact, that's her easy to remember website, gloriahasthebuyers.com. You can also give her a call at 314-325-6888. If you're ready to sell your St. Louis area home quickly and for top dollar, if you want an upfront, in writing, guaranteed sale that takes all the stress off your shoulders. Maybe you're selling your home and you're planning to buy another one, or you're just looking for a reliable, proven local real estate expert. Gloria checks all those boxes. Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She will sell your home or she will buy it. And she'll guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll even pay you the difference. Give her a call. Tell her your situation. She understands no two sellers are the same. Seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date. Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. Or online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding, that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Well, if you're traveling in from the Metro East into the city, be prepared for a delay. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Tom, we still have that closure. It hasn't changed since 2:40 this morning when the crash occurred. Westbound 5564 shut down just past the King Bridge exit. 5570 is a solid jam at 203. 64 about midway between 111 and 25th Street is where your backup begins. Measle Veterans Bridge, just a little slow going across. Not bad. You got double trouble on eastbound 70. 2 different crashes. The first one you come across is the most recent one. It's in the left lane at Cypress, so traffic's a solid jam at 270. The next one, just a short backup going past that, the right lane at Natural Bridge. Next update at 7:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:59, and it is Tuesday, the 2nd of September. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and we've heard from Illinois State Police on that crash that shut down southbound I-55 in the Metro East. We'll have the latest after CBS News.
I'm Sean Malone. How do Democrats plan to fight back against redistricting? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A brief shower or two around this morning. Otherwise, clouds and sun today with a high of 84.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We will look into what the Cardinals did yesterday, what's happening this week in St. Louis sports. Huge week going on. A lot of different organizations coming into town to throw big events. We'll break it all down for you at 7:15. At the tone, it's 7.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington, where it's back to work for lawmakers. CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
Congress returns from its summer break today, picking up right where it left off. A pair of bipartisan lawmakers is renewing its demands for the Justice Department to publicly release all files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. This as a House Oversight panel steps up its probe, with some members meeting today with survivors of the late financier's alleged sex trafficking ring.
Also on tap, agreeing to a plan to fund the government. The lawmakers must pass a spending bill before the end of the month or face a potential shutdown. As thousands of National Guard troops are still on the streets in D.C. helping fight crime, correspondent Nancy Cordes with what city the president is eyeing up next.
President Trump mentioned Chicago 3 times on social media, warning the Illinois governor to straighten out crime fast or we're coming.
Chicago officials say they hear that could happen in a matter of days. In Texas, an 11-year-old was shot to death while doing a ding-dong ditch. Reporter Karen Hua is in Houston.
Police say a group of kids was ringing doorbells as part of a prank late Saturday night. Officials say a man came out and fired several rounds at the children as they ran away. One 11-year-old boy was killed after being hit multiple times in the back. The shooting happened further up the street, off of the property.
No arrests have been made. Rescuers are using helicopters to search for survivors in eastern Afghanistan after a powerful 6.0 earthquake. The death toll's gone up to at least 1,400 people now. Thousands more have been injured, and there are fears many are still trapped under the excessive rubble in hard-to-reach areas. Kraft Heinz is splitting into 2 companies.
One will focus on Heinz ketchup, Philadelphia cream cheese, and Kraft mac and cheese. The other will include Oscar Mayer, Kraft cheese singles, and Lunchables. Both companies will be publicly listed. The split reverses much of the 2015 merger of Kraft and Heinz. Since that deal closed 10 years ago, shares of the company have fallen 60%. Like other food industry giants, Kraft Heinz has been struggling as people choose healthier and more affordable options. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It's time to play America's favorite jackpot game.
There was no Powerball winner last night again, so that means the jackpot gets even bigger. It's now up to $1.3 billion, the 5th largest prize in the game's history. So your dreams of hitting it big are still alive. The next drawing is tomorrow night. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not.
It is 7:04, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have cloudy sky, 63 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We also have a backup in the Metro East. Illinois State Police say 3 people were injured overnight in a crash that forced the closure of all southbound I-55 lanes at East St. Louis. That accident took place about 1:45. Troopers say a wrong-way driver's car struck another vehicle head-on and pushed it underneath a tractor-trailer. With more on the backup and what to expect, let's go to Roger Brand. He is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. We'll jump back to him here in just a moment. A special legislative session has been called to redraw Missouri's congressional map and make it more difficult for voters to amend the Constitution. KMOX asks, how do Democrats plan to fight back?
Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck says their biggest tool is the filibuster, but he is concerned Republicans might use what he calls a nuclear option known as previous question, ending all debate and forcing a vote.
We do have the filibuster. The question is how long are they going to let us go? Are they going to let us talk before they use that option?
Are enough Senate Republicans on board? Minority Whip Brian Williams.
I think it's too soon to speculate, but I hope that we recognize that this isn't a partisan issue. This is about protecting Missouri, protecting the rights of voters.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
While much is being made about potential congressional map redistricting in Missouri and other states at the request of President Trump, some in Illinois are hoping for a change in Springfield. Former Republican Congressman Ray LaHood is part of an effort hoping to put state legislature redistricting on the ballot in November 2026. LaHood telling Capital News Illinois an independent commission reworked nearby Iowa's legislative maps.
They're not splitting up neighborhoods. They're not splitting up communities. They're not splitting up counties. These maps are reflective of where people live.
Petition signatures are due in May in order to get the Illinois Constitution referendum on the ballot in late 2026. The St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station is sponsoring this newscast.
It's 7:06. We're hoping to learn more today about Monday night's fatal car crash in South St. Louis. It happened before 10 on South Gravois near Compton. Police say one person was killed in the wreckage. A second person suffered major injuries.
Police say a child is in stable condition after being shot Monday night in the Hamilton Heights neighborhood. An adult drove the victim from the scene in the 5500 block of Martin Luther King Drive to a nearby gas station for help. Crime Stoppers is accepting tips on that case.
We want to make sure we're setting people up for success so they don't reoffend.
That's Missouri new director of the State Public Defender's Office, Matthew Kroll. He tells Missouri Net the challenges they are facing is retention of attorneys, and more funded is needed for mitigation specialists.
Who go into a case and they get to know the client and they get to find out what their issues are and how we can help them overcome those issues. So a lot of times clients have issues with driver's licenses. You know, they've been suspended. We can help sometimes get their license reinstated, which will help them to avoid getting another charge.
Kroll says many of their clients suffer from substance abuse issues, so mitigation specialists are great at getting them into treatment programs throughout the state.
Last week, we told you about BioSTL working with Washington University on new technology to help bridge the gap of federal Medicaid funding cuts. We had some questions beyond the news conference, so Michael Calhoun called up BioSTL's Don Rubin. The initiative hopes to find ways to use tech to lower costs for rural hospitals.
I mean, ultimately, if people don't have insurance or an ability to access the cover, I guess, how does this help with the folks who maybe have lost their coverage and they're figuring out, how can I even access this to begin with?
Yeah, well, just communicating with people what their access is, and whatever the ability to pay is, it's going to be a challenge.
Lowering overhead could be the difference between staying open and closing for many rural hospitals.
We'll get right back to Roger Brand at 7:10 on that backup in the Metro East that has snarled traffic there all morning. It is 7:08.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
We have had some issues on the roadways this morning. Let's get the very latest from Roger Brand. He joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, unfortunately, Debbie, there's still no change downtown with this crash on 5564. Just past the Kingbridge exit that happened about 2:40 this morning. Still shut down. Westbound, cleanup and investigation continuing. Westbound 5570 has a jam at 203. Westbound 64 is jammed about midway between 111 and 25th Street up to that scene. The Musial Veterans Bridge is your best alternate nearby, and it's wide open. No delays across the bridge or getting to it. Once you get past that 64 split, you're good to go there. Now, eastbound 70, we've had problems this morning as well. First of all, eastbound 70 slow. David Hochul in through Parkway in through Highway 64. There's a little busy traffic around 5th Street. It's jammed, though, from 270 into a crash we have in the left lane at Cypress, and then they had one in the right lane they were clearing at Natural Bridge. And there's also a westbound crash at the airport exit, the air flight exit as well. That ramp is blocked westbound at the crash scene, it looks like right now. Southbound 61, Highway P down onto 64th, through with the Winghaven area is pretty heavy, a little slow at Clarkson. Northbound 270 from 55 all the way up through Manchester's busy. South 270, primarily Olive down to Ladue, and northbound 55, the usual stuff from the Union Road overpass headed across the river to Pear. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A passing shower or two this morning, otherwise intervals of clouds and sunshine today with more of that sun this afternoon, the high 84. Tonight will end up clear, low 62. We start tomorrow with sunshine, then clouds increase. It'll become breezy and very warm for the afternoon, the high 87, as warm as it'll be for a while. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm are likely tomorrow night. Thursday, cooler with partly to mostly sunny skies, the high 76. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have a cloudy sky, but some sun poked through just a little while ago. Now we're back to being cloudy. 63 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12. Sports gambling begins in Missouri in 3 months from today. Jan Zimmerman, chair of the Missouri Gaming Commission, tells MissouriNet they were happy to see the sports books which applied for licenses will provide resources for people struggling with gambling addiction.
Paying attention to problem gambling and certainly making sure that, they are aware of and providing that outlet to people who will be on their platform. So, I know that was a concern of voters in the state of Missouri.
So far, DraftKings and Circa Sports have received the untethered licenses. FanDuel has announced a deal to partner with City SC and hopes to receive a tethered license.
It could be the first time Wildwood gives tax incentives to a developer. The developers of Wildwood Luxury Living, a luxury apartment complex in Main Street in Taylor with space for stores and restaurants, say the project depends on getting more than $3 million in tax exemptions over the next decade. Wildwood's mayor, Joe Garitano, tells the Post-Dispatch the city needs to take action to get town center to fully thrive. But several council members are opposed, citing the impact on the Rockwood School District. They also say there's no guarantee new businesses will come.
Town Center has been slow to develop, with businesses struggling to stay open. A restaurant and grocer shut their doors last month. The 820-acre site includes Wildwood City Hall, a movie theater, Deerberg, some offices and restaurants, and single-family homes. The city council approved the Wildwood Luxury Living project in 2023. They will likely discuss tax exemptions on Monday.
With full flights this summer between St. Louis and Frankfurt, Lufthansa says it will add more next summer.
It has been strong since the very beginning, but this clearly was the strongest summer. So I think this summer our load factor in and out was 98%.
That's Lambert Airport Director Rhonda Hamnebrugge. The German airline plans to add 2 more weekly flights starting June 1st for a total of 5 every week through mid-October.
It is 7:15.
A big weekend of sports in St. Louis upcoming. Let's start, though, with baseball from yesterday.
For the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney and Mike Claiborne, this is Ricky Horton with our Redbird recap of the Cardinals game yesterday. It was an 11-3 loss to the Athletics as the Athletics pounded the baseball. 2 home runs for J.J. Bleday, a home run by Zach Geloff, and the Athletics had 11 runs on 15 hits in the game, and it was a rough start for Sonny Gray, who picked up his 8th loss of the year. He's 12-8. The win went to Luis Morales. He's 3-0, and the 22-year-old was very, very good, striking out 8 Cardinals. Cardinals continue to get a bunch of strikeouts. Ivan Herrera did hit a home run for the Cardinals. That went into Big Mac land in the 4th inning, but it was not nearly enough as the Cardinals lose the first game of the 3-game series, 11-3. And tonight it will be Luis Severino, Miles Michaelis going as the pregame show begins at 5:50. The play-by-play at 6:35. We hope you'll join us. This has been your Redbird recap.
Ricky, we'll give our player to bank on to Lars Nootbaar, who had a good day, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. As mentioned there, Nootbaar ended up with 3 hits yesterday on what we thought was his birthday. I wished him a happy birthday yesterday. He said, my birthday's not for another week, but I've been getting all kinds of messages today about that. So somewhere along the line, somebody posted that it was his birthday. And I think Major League Baseball or MLBPA or whoever it was got it wrong. Anyway, he was 3 for 4 yesterday. Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend this weekend. After this series is over, the Cardinals will host the Giants and Edgar Renteria, Al Raboski, and posthumously Walt Jocketty inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Just one of many events going on this weekend in St. Louis. NASCAR Cup playoff race at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Enjoy Illinois 300 is Sunday at 2 o'clock. And there's a lot going on before that, Friday and Saturday, including an Xfinity race and the Confluence Music Festival. PGA Tour Champions event at Norwood Hills Country Club. The Champions Tour with the Stiefel Charity Classic, September 5th through the 7th. Some of the legendary players of the game will be here in St. Louis. St. Louis City SC also has a game. That'll be Saturday against FC Dallas. And on top of all that, Herman Stadium has a big one on Sunday night with the Bronze Boot, as the Billikens will be taking on SIUE. A big weekend, no doubt about it. It's going to be a rough week for Bill Belichick. He's going to have to pick up the pieces after getting beat badly yesterday by TCU. His first game as a college coach, did not go well. North Carolina trounced at home last night by TCU, 48-14. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
104.1 FM, KMOX. News, talk, sports.
Wow, we've had a hot summer so far. Probably still got a little bit more heat coming in through the rest of August and September. Most likely, let you know, I am still here. If you guys looked up the wife looking through you at a fork, I am still here. She still loves the hell out of me because my air conditioner did not break this summer, and I did not need to call me to have it looked at or have it fixed. But if you do need your air conditioner fixed, we can get to you pretty quick. If you want a new one, somebody tells you need a new one, we can get to you really quick. Just call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or BartInman.com. I almost forgot. BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you are in the market for a new car, do I have one for you? Genesis. Oh, man, those Genesis vehicles are very cool. They look awesome out on the roads, and inside the vehicle, they are even better. Better than you can imagine. Test drive at Genesis right now. Genesis of St. Charles will bring it to you. You can actually do everything online. They'll deliver you the car. You can test drive it from your driveway and buy it right there online. But the best way to do it is definitely to go in to the state-of-the-art facility located at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That's off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70 in St. Peters. It's called Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. Remember telling you it was going to be a big deal back then? It is a big deal now. Genesis of St. Charles. Luxury service. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. GenesisofSt.Charles.com.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's see how things are sorting themselves out at 7:20. The roadways have been a bit of a mess for Illinois drivers this morning. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center is where we find Roger Brand.
Yeah, there's still no change there, Debbie. Unfortunately, westbound 5564 is still shut down just past the Kingbridge exit because of the crash. So 5570 is jammed at 20364. Hasn't changed really, but about midway between 111 and 25th Street. Mutual Veterans Bridge wide open as the nearby alternates. There's no delays getting across there. You just have to get through the jam to get to it. Out west, eastbound 70 is backed up with David Hochul Parkway into Highway Z, and eastbound 70 also has this heavy traffic at 5th Street, and it jams approaching 270. This crash at Cypress in the left lane is a trouble spot, creating that backup there. Southbound 61, you're on the brakes at Highway P, most of the way down to Wentzville Parkway, but from there it's slow up through Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's jammed 364 through Winghaven now. After that, from about Annie Guns all the way to Timberlake, it's heavy, a little slow at the Interbelt. South 270, Dorset down to Ladue is a stop-and-go pockets. North 270 jam as you ramp on from 55, but once you get past that point, it's just heavy all the way up through Ladue. Eastbound 30 delays to West Watson. Northbound Tesson Ferry is south of Butler Hill up to 270. 55, you have that backup in the right lanes of Butler Hill, and all lanes from Union Road almost all the way up through the Virginia area. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And Roger, we have rain right now in the Metro East. Belleville is getting a lot of that along with Muscuda. And here comes a little bit more into the St. Louis area. We see rain right now, Chesterfield down into Baldwin and Des Peres. We'll get a little bit in the city. And then after that, the sun comes out. Although there's a big blob of rain around Herman right now. We can see it on the radar all the way up into Montgomery City on I-70. So some rain popping around the area this morning. Otherwise, a high of 84 today, 87 tomorrow, then a couple of showers and a thunderstorm likely tomorrow night, and Thursday's high is only 76 degrees. Currently, it's 63 downtown. The weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 7:23. Festus Main Street has been experiencing a small business resurgence over the last decade. A major catalyst has been the Main and Mill Brewing Company. Now the popular brewery is expanding operations to produce and sell more beverages, but they're not leaving their hometown. Stuart McMillan sat down with Main and Mill owner Denny Foster to discuss the exciting new concept, Central Tap, just down the street from their brew pub.
It's about 2 blocks down the road on the same side of our Main Street. And, I've got a really strong belief in Main Street. Once we put the other location in, I figured when we were talking about it, we really wanted to make that happen, to bring traffic to our Main Street. There's a lot of untapped potential here. Whenever we were, I've lived here all my life and I've seen it from 40 years ago. So looking at it that way, you hope that you build it and they will come type of thing, field of dream situation. And like I said, thankfully that happened. And since then, there's been, I'm the president of our Main Street Association and have been for, I think, 8-9 years when we put it back together. And so now that we're putting this on there, a lot of people have asked if we think we're going to be cannibalizing our own market. And I would say pretty hard no on that.
What's the concept of Central?
Well, we're doing 24 taps here. That's not all beers. So probably half or less will be beer. We're doing cold brew coffee that we produce here. We'll be doing kombucha in the future, different kinds of teas. We're going to make our own sodas. We might even dabble in THC and CBD beverages. So there'll be a lot of NA stuff here, a lot of, some alcohol stuff, 8 different slushies. So we're going to be doing some of those, then alcohol and non-alcoholic. So basically we're trying to make this a all-inclusive. If you like to drink nice things or anything that you think is a little bit better than what you'd see on the shelf, you'll be able to get it here. And it's going to be something that I think it'll resonate well with people around here, trying to make sure that there's always something here for everybody. And there'll be a large to-go station of things that we can on the side, even in small amounts to take out. We'll be doing growler and howler fills, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's going to be totally different from the brew pub over there. We have 10 taps over there. Those are all beer. We brew those all down there. We do cocktails and things down there, but this will be a totally different concept, a totally different feel than what we've got there. And I mean, we have our name on the sign, but other than that, you wouldn't know this is a Main and Mill new location.
I want to walk over to these stools that are kind of uniquely built into the side here. So tell me about this idea of having this window that opens up. It looks like kind of a old school garage door kind of thing. And then there's this seating here. So what's the idea here?
So we have stools that are attached to the outside wall that'll pull out when they're needed. So, and if not, whenever we're full or there's a festival or something, we can tuck them back in and not have to move stools in and out of the place. So we have those on the inside and the outside of the front of the location. So I think we will have 16 total, 8 in, 8 out. Like I said, if we're really busy and everybody's standing around just enjoying themselves, it's really easy to get them out of the way. It makes for more room. But if somebody wants to sit and look outside on Main Street and have a drink, it's really easy just to pull it right out of the wall and take a seat and put it right back when you're done.
That is Stuart McMillan speaking with Denny Foster of Central Tap and Main and Mill of Festus.
It's 7:26. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We have a tree that died in our front yard, unfortunately. So guess who's going to take that tree out promptly? And that would be Gamma Tree Experts. Yes, the old ash tree in the front has slowly died. So Gamma Tree is going to take care of that. And that is that. Gamma Tree Experts, gammatree.com. Love Tim Gamma and his group. They've always done a great job for us. I just appreciate the prompt, friendly service. They have always been great. I said that was an ash tree. It's actually an elm. I just looked at it. Of course, Gamma always corrects me. They know the trees better than I do. It's an elm tree. See ya. And you know what? They'll take a look around any of the other trees in our yard and make sure that we're safe. We don't want that tree falling on our house. I assure you that. So it's important. Those trees are beautiful, but those trees are also needing to be healthy to thrive and make sure there's no damage to your property. Gamma Tree Experts can do all of that for you. Gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
You hear that?
That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising. Higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap GoodRx. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insured.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronti, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
We welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
you want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
We have a very special guest on the Gas House Gang today. Cardinals hitting coach Brant Brown will join Ollie Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and me for a special conversation about what's going on behind the scenes with the club. Brant Brown, our guest on the Gas House Gang this afternoon.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it looks like we could be in for a little more rain. We've got some more clouds anyway, but it's 63 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand, any relief over there? Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center in the Metro East.
Yeah, good news now, Tom. They just reopened the highway a few minutes ago, so that was 5564 that was closed since 2:40 this morning. They just reopened it at the King Bridge there, so traffic is beginning to get through. 64 is the only place we have the delays, and it's from 111 now, pretty much all the way to the Poplar Street Bridge. Not a jam, but it's very heavy, so it'll continue to improve, so that's good news. What hasn't improved is Highway 70 on the Missouri side. We still have this one crash they're working with. We had 2 earlier. Now they're just down to the 1, but the left lane's still closed, eastbound 70 at Cypress. First of all, eastbound 70 slow from David Holcomb Parkway into 64, Lake St. Louis into about Highway K, but then east of 94, it's backed up all the way to Cypress because of that crash. 364 is a little busy between K and Gudermuth. It's slow across the Veterans Bridge. Southbound 61, pockets from Highway P. There's actually an incident at Highway P, and then there's just a couple of slowdowns south of there. Down onto 64, and it's busy all the way through Winghaven, from Annie Guns all the way through Clarkson, east of 270 to Lindbergh and approaching McKnight. South 170 bogs down just south of Olive. South 270 is on the brakes from Dorset down to Page. Busy down to Ladue after that. North 270 jams as you ramp on from 55. Heavy all the way up to Ladue. 44 from 141 through Bowles. Northbound 55, there's a crash at Butler Hill, so it's backed up at Merrimack Bottom. Right lane's blocked. And then north of Lindbergh, approaching Revis, all the way up across the river to Perry, you've got delays. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A shower or two in the area this morning. Otherwise, the rest of today, clouds and sun with a high of 84. Tomorrow, sunshine with increasing clouds, a high of 87. It's tomorrow night that some showers and thunderstorms rolling through will cool things down for the rest of the week, because Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be in the 70s. Right now, it's 63 degrees.
It's 7:32. An autopsy is planned today on a body found Sunday afternoon in the Black River near Poplar Bluff. The Butler County Coroner's Office says foul play is not suspected, but they'd like to find out what led up to 47-year-old Antonio Atkins' death. We're told a fisherman discovered the Portageville native's body.
Ahead of tomorrow's special legislative session, Missouri Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck says many Republicans understand the risks that come with redrawing the congressional map in an attempt to flip Democrat Emanuel Cleaver's seat. He says despite that, pressure from the White House could cause them to vote against their own interests.
There's some true believers, but I believe a lot of them know that. But they're also, quite frankly, they're more afraid of Donald Trump than they are of anything else. And that's what they're doing. They're doing whatever he's told them to do, and that's point blank. That's been proven.
Asked if he knows if any Republicans would vote against either initiative petition reform or redistricting, Minority Whip Brian Williams said it's too soon to tell.
Mercy South has one of the St. Louis region's busiest emergency departments, and they are undergoing a $75 million expansion that will almost double the square footage. Last week, Mercy South was averaging 200 patients in the ER a day. That's about 6,300 visits a month. One reason for the increase is the hospital's stroke program. They say it's the busiest in the area, with more stroke patients than any other hospital in the state. The expansion project is expected to be done by spring 2027.
Kraft Heinz is splitting into two companies a decade after they joined in a massive merger. The names of the two companies will be released later. Remains to be seen if there will be any effect at the Kraft Heinz plant in Granite City, which makes Capri Sun pouches.
Did you know an iconic Starbucks drink almost had a different name?
Peter Dukes created the pumpkin spice latte back in 2003, but he told People magazine back then pumpkin flavored things weren't that popular, so they almost went with another name instead, the Fall Harvest Latte. But they ultimately decided to give the PSL a go, and while it was well liked at first, it really became a cult favorite years later when it blew up on social media.
Come on, it's pumpkin spice time. When it comes to fall, I'm about as basic as it gets.
Imagine ordering a grande FHL with extra whip. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:35.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at NordVPN.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on NordVPN.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Good morning. This report is sponsored by Fidelity. President Trump says India offered to cut its tariff rate to 0 after Washington doubled the tariff rate on India to 50%. In a Truth Social post, Trump said that it's getting late and India should have cut its rates years ago. The president did not say in that post whether the White House would reopen trade talks with that country. Do hot dogs go with mac and cheese? Apparently not for the Kraft Heinz company. It's going to separate into 2 independent, publicly listed companies. One company will include its sauces and boxed meals like Heinz ketchup and Kraft mac and cheese. The second will sell grocery products like Oscar Mayer hot dogs and Lunchables. The 2 companies' names will be determined at a different date. The announcement unwinds a $46 billion merger a decade ago that united 2 iconic brands. And he's only been in the job for a year, but Nestle has dismissed its CEO, Laurent Frex, due to an undisclosed workplace affair. The company has named the head of Nespresso as his replacement. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Your Money Report sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations. Through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future. Because thriving businesses mean thriving people. and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd. At MissouriBroadcasters.org.
If you or your loved one or maybe your parent wants to age in place at home, it is totally understandable, but sometimes seems like it might not be possible. You should know about EverTrue Anywhere Care. EverTrue Anywhere Care, formerly known as Lutheran Senior Services. Of course, you're probably familiar with Lutheran Senior Services, local life plan communities, but they also have been providing world-class in-home services for nearly 20 years. EverTrue Anywhere Care can help with after-surgery care, orthopedic injury rehabilitation, licensed nursing, maybe just an extra hand around the house for some of those harder-to-do chores. EverTrue Anywhere Care will offer expert support that allows older adults to live comfortably and independently at home. So give them a call. They will come to you and put together a plan that works. 314-597-6498. 314-597-6498. You can find them online right now at evertrueanywherecare.org.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, Glover here. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free from Universal Windows Direct. No interest for 3 whole years. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at Cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Today, the Cards, the Athletics, Cameron Total Access 550, Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's check back in with Roger Brand. Busy morning, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, a lot of traffic out there, Tom. You're right. This traffic reports the service of Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Eastbound 70 still kind of busy heading into Wentzville Parkway, Highway Z. It's bogged down at 94, jams at the Blanchette Bridge. They cleared the crash over to the left shoulder. The lanes are open now at Cypress, so hopefully that'll start to get better. There's still a little jam at Natural Bridge where you had that crash that was in the right lane at that point. If you're on southbound 61, you're slow south of Highway P onto 64 all the way through Winghaven. From about Long Road through Clarkson is busy. There's pockets across the 270 overpass all the way into the Interbelt. Not jam, but it's just busy. Westbound 64 Kings Highway headed to Hanley, slow. South 170 delays as you approach Olive from Page on down in stretches. South 270 is backed up Dorset to Page, and then it's slow to Ladue. North 270 as you ramp on from 55 is heavy. Stop and go stuff 44 through Doherty Ferry, but again, busy all the way to Ladue. 44 east of Merritt's in through Mraz is busy. North 55 jams at Merrimack Bottom. The right lane and exit are now closed at Butler Hill because of that injury crash. And then Union Road up through Virginia is pretty heavy. Downtown, westbound 64, west of 111, approaching 25th Street, still slow across the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
You want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
All right, it is 7:42 and time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. The sky keeps doing this thing where it looks like it's going to rain downtown at any minute, and then it kind of brightens up a little bit.
Kind of like on the northern edge of these light rain showers that are sliding from west-northwest to east-southeast. The whole area is sliding farther and farther south with time. we could use some rain. It has not rained much in the past couple of weeks. In fact, we only had an inch and a half of rain the entire month of August. So we're kind of hurting for some rainfall right now, but this is not going to do anything. Just basically, a few pieces of dust on your windshield, and that's about it. Then some sun and more of it this afternoon, up to 84. Tonight should be clear, low 62. We start with sun tomorrow, then clouds increase. It's the warmest day that we're going to see for at least the next week around the area at 87. There will be some much-needed rain tomorrow night, a shower and thunderstorm or two. And then Thursday, partly to mostly sunny, noticeably cooler, only 76. We stay in the 70s on Friday. A second front could bring us a late-day shower. Saturday, more sunshine, a beautiful start to the weekend, a high 74. 63 in St. Peter, 64 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, and 66 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:43. It's looking like federal troops may be deployed to Chicago sooner than later. CBS News correspondent Nancy Cortez reports.
Chicago officials say they're hearing it will be days, not weeks, before National Guard troops, like the ones patrolling D.C., arrive in their city over their objections.
You're supposed to serve the people. We are the people.
Over the long weekend, President Trump mentioned Chicago 3 times on social media, warning the Illinois governor to straighten out crime fast or we're coming. This weekend alone, more than 50 people were shot in Chicago, though the murder rate has fallen by 50% over the past 4 years.
Every single citizen deserves to be safe.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed on Face the Nation that a greater federal presence is coming to Chicago, starting with a surge in immigration raids.
We do intend to add more resources to those operations. I won't disclose the details because they are law enforcement and investigative folks that are on the ground there, and I want to make sure we keep their security our number one priority.
In Washington, D.C., there are now 2,300 National Guard troops armed and deployed, though by law they cannot perform law enforcement duties themselves.
This is an erratic, impulsive administration.
On Saturday, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order directing the Chicago Police Department not to collaborate with military personnel on police patrols or ICE raids.
We do not want to see tanks in our streets. We do not want to see families ripped apart. We do not want grandmothers thrown into the back of unmarked vans.
7:45. We are 11 hours away from Cardinal baseball. 6:45 start for the Cardinals and the Athletics tonight at Busch Stadium. Sonny Gray hammered yesterday by the A's bats. 7 runs off of him. The Cardinals ace, usually pretty good against his former team. Not this time around. Cardinals struggled to an 11-3 loss. On the Gas House Gang today at 12:05, Cardinals hitting coach Brant Brown will join Ollie Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and me. We'll have a good time, and you, as we take your questions, as always, on the Gas House Gang on Facebook, X, YouTube, and, of course, right here on KMOX. The Cardinals will play 2 more against the A's, then a day off Thursday before they entertain the San Francisco Giants. Well, this was not an entertaining game last night in Chapel Hill. Bill Belichick's transition from the pros to college is off to a rocky start, to say the least. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh reports.
Bill Belichick's college football coaching debut left much to be desired.
Obviously, we have a lot of work to do.
The 6-time Super Bowl winners, North Carolina Tar Heels, were defeated 48-14 by TCU on Monday night.
They just outplayed us. They outcoached us. I mean, they were just better than we were tonight.
The 48 points were the most ever allowed by a Belichick-coached team.
Just wasn't up to what it needs to be, and I know we're a lot better than that.
The game at Kenan Memorial Stadium featured a number of famous UNC alumni, including Michael Jordan.
Fans were awesome. It's great energy in the stadium. We just didn't do enough to keep it going.
It marked Belichick's first game back on the sideline since being fired by the Patriots after the 2023 season. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The new AP Top 25 comes out today. We'll see who's number 1. Texas had it for a brief period of time. They lost at Ohio State last weekend. Number 12, Illinois, currently playing at Duke on Saturday. What a big game and test for the Illini. They're just a 3-point favorite in Durham. That's an 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. And then There's KU and Mizzou. What a matchup that's going to be at Faurot Field. Tigers fans have been waiting a long time for this one. Kansas comes in. They're 2-0. They're pretty good. They beat Wagner. Not much to say about that, although their win over Fresno State was very impressive. Missouri blistered Central Arkansas 61-6. Jayhawks are another story. Missouri, a 6-point favorite at home on Saturday against Kansas. That one kicks off at 2:30, and you can watch that on ESPN2 along with a national audience. I'm Tom Ackerman. Innsbruck would be a great place to hang before the Mizzou and after the Mizzou KU game because it's about halfway from here to Columbia. We've actually done that. We did a football weekend last year. The family, we went before Mizzou played Oklahoma. We stayed at Innsbruck, so that was very nice. It was a night game, so we didn't have to drive all the way home. We just went back to our home at Innsbruck and got up the next morning and enjoyed ourselves. It's Innsbruck, innsbruck-resort.com. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck, where every day is the weekend, and every day is indeed the weekend there. The time just sort of stops out there. That is a great vacation spot. Love the golf course. Love the fishing. Last time we were there, Audrey caught a monster catfish that we just could not believe. Biggest fish she said she's ever caught. Might be the biggest fish I've ever caught. Not in deep sea fishing. I mean, it was awesome. Anyway, Innsbruck's a great spot. It's just 45 minutes from our house. It's an hour from downtown St. Louis. It's off the Wright City exit, and then you just take a 10-minute drive into Innsbruck from there. Innsbruck-resort.com.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Let's get you caught up on your ride in on this Tuesday morning, September the 2nd. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Travel Center.
Well, we still got heavy traffic on eastbound 70, Debbie. East of 94, it's stop and go in stretches all the way in through Natural Bridge. We had a couple of crashes around the airport. It looks like they've all been cleared, but it's just the leftover volume. Looks like coming into the area. If you're on eastbound 364 from Bryan Road now into Mid Rivers, there's some slower stretches. It's bogged down again, 94 Mugi, most of the way to 141, and then, of course, approaching 270. Eastbound 64, a little slow at Prospect. 364 through the Winghaven area is heavy. It's bogged down Boone's Crossing to almost Timberlake, and it's slow again from Lindbergh all the way through the Innerbelt. The Innerbelt has delays, slow traffic at least, southbound south of the Rock Road all the way down to 64. South 270, midway between 70 and Dorset down to Ladou's busy. North 270, 55 to Ladou's heavy. Eastbound 44, west of 141 in through 270, all the way in through Big Bend, and then another slowdown at Laclede Station. North 55 jams on the Merrimack River Bridge. The right lane and exit to Butler Hill still closed. It's backed up again from Union Road all the way through Virginia. And then from 55 out on to westbound 70 downtown, and 64 still busy 25th Street up to the 70 split, and then on the Poplar after that. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, the radar looks a little bit better, but we still have some rain falling in the St. Louis area. The heaviest right now is in Webster Groves and extending into South City, just about into Dutchtown. That's about the stretch of it right now. South City getting some rain, as well as South and parts of West County. And other than that, we're going to have a nice day today with some sun and clouds and a high of 44. Mainly clear, low 62 tonight. And then tomorrow, sunshine followed by increasing clouds. It'll be warm tomorrow afternoon, a high of 87. But after a likely thunderstorm tomorrow night, Thursday, and through Sunday will be cool with highs in the mid 70s. Right now in downtown St. Louis, things are lightening up. It's 64 degrees.
The news continues at 7:52. Sports gambling kicks off 3 months from now in Missouri.
What do prospective gamblers need to be aware of? Jan Zimmerman, the Missouri Gaming Commission chair, says they will be closely monitoring illegal underage gambling with the help of the wagering platforms.
When we had those presentations by the three applicants that, they are sharing information about individuals who are prohibited from wagering.
Zimmerman says she was also happy to see the platforms offer resources to problem gamblers. So far, DraftKings and Circus Sports have received untethered licenses, while FanDuel has a deal with City SC and is awaiting an untethered license. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Well, Debbie and I gambled by not playing Powerball, and look at this. It's still alive. Nobody won.
It's waiting for us.
$1.1 billion Powerball jackpot. If you want to check your tickets, the winning numbers are 8, 23, 25, 40, and 53. The Powerball number is 5, but they already said nobody won.
Nobody won, but you might have won something. You don't know.
Yeah.
The prize during the next drawing on Wednesday, tomorrow, is expected to be $1.3 billion. So will lottery fever get even worse? KCBS reporter Margaret Carrero put that question to lottery expert Jonathan Cohen.
When jackpots get big like this, and these days when they hit $1 billion, lots of people who don't usually buy lottery tickets, start shelling out a couple bucks here and there. And then, as you might imagine, people who are already buying lottery tickets, who already have lottery fever, the temperature just goes up and up.
And so is that the mark now? Once it hits $1 billion, that's when people start sweating?
Yeah, that's right. I think the first $1 billion jackpot was back in 2016. And I think that's sort of become our new sort of standard. You might remember even back in the 80s, it was it would be as little as like $50 million or $100 million. I mean, I'll take $100 million if you're offering.
Yeah.
But now I think $1 billion is when it starts to get people's attention. And maybe I think we're almost at a point where it's like 1.5, $2 billion is what it's going to take to sort of get people out of bed and go buy tickets.
I mean, the odds of winning are so astronomical. So why are lotteries so popular?
Because the odds are so astronomical, the prizes can be so big. And I think it really just boils down to that. And lotteries are and have been for hundreds of years, basically the only way for someone to spend $2 on something and end up with 1.1 billion. So I think it really comes down to that, as gambling as being a route to the American dream and as being a route to wealth that lots of people don't really see another way of coming to them.
What are some lottery myths that people should know about?
Okay, this is a very important myth, I hope, for the one lucky Californian who I assume is going to win the $1.1 billion jackpot. The story that you've heard that every lottery winner ends up broke and murdered or drug addicted or something, it's a total myth. It's happened to like 3 or 4 people, but those same stories get trotted out every time. If you win the lottery, you are almost certainly going to wind up healthier and wealthier than the rest of us.
So there are people who will do a bunch of quick picks. Then there's people who, I don't know if they're superstitious, but they play the same numbers. Is there a rhyme or reason to that? Does it matter which way you go as far as getting the numbers?
Yeah, so it does not matter in terms of increasing your odds of winning, because obviously every number combination has the same chance. But if you want to play your grandma's birthday, good luck. I would say the only thing that would make sense is if you play a quick pick, you're more likely to get sort of a random number combination that most people wouldn't think of on their own. And therefore, if or maybe when you do win, you're less likely to have to split the jackpot because it's less likely that someone else has the same number combination as you.
Oh, and that was that. We were invested in listening to him.
I was all into it, and then it's just that it ended.
It was very abrupt. That is Margaret Carrero and lottery expert Jonathan Cohen.
It's 7:56.
I'm Tom Ackerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. You can play Underdog today. Playing on Underdog is easy, and it's so much fun during football season. You choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, touchdowns, receiving yards, maybe a little Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, perhaps this week. You can do interceptions, a lot more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code TOM, and that's going to score you $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. But you have to put in promo code TOM. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_HTML for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Celebrate the month of September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning as well. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of these huge savings. Spell it forward, spell it backwards, always spells the same. Zero Res.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Roger Brand, what are you seeing out there? Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it turns out we have another crash, Tom. Eastbound 78 Natural Bridge. The original one was in the right lane. This one's in the left lane, so traffic's still backed up eastbound on 70. Again, it's heavy from about 5th Street all the way in stop-and-go pockets through there. And we also have a new crash northbound 270 between Doherty Ferry and Manchester, blocking the 2 left lanes. Traffic is on North 270 is delayed in pockets from just north of 55. And they're still working the crash north 55 at Butler Hill, the right lane and exit ramp blocked for that one. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. Ryan Ruth will be in court later this morning. He's the man charged with trying to assassinate then-candidate Donald Trump on his golf course last year. Legal analyst Lori Levinson says he plans to represent himself.
There's various types of evidence regarding his activities in the past that Ruth will try to get in front of the jury, but the government has brought motions to exclude that evidence. And that's one of the things that Judge Cannon has to sort out before the trial actually begins.
Jury selection begins next week. Lawmakers are back to work on Capitol Hill, and CBS's Nicole Killian says the clock is ticking.
The countdown is on to fund the government. Lawmakers must pass a spending bill by the end of this month or face a potential shutdown. There is not much trust on either side of the aisle right now after the White House tried last week to claw back billions of dollars in congressionally appropriated foreign aid.
President Trump's doubling down on his plan to send National Guard troops to Chicago, posting on Truth Social, "I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in D.C. Chicago will be safe again, and soon." This weekend, more than 50 people were shot in the city, though the murder rate's fallen by 50% over the past 4 years. Over 1,000 were killed in a landslide in the mountains of Western Sudan. Mathilde Vu with the Norwegian Refugee Council says it's a very hard-to-reach area.
It takes at least 5 hours trekking or on donkey in order to reach the place. And so far we haven't been able to send people there. You can't even get closer with a car.
A young survivor of the Minneapolis church shooting will undergo surgery tomorrow.
10-year-old Weston Halsney captured the country's hearts when he described how his friend saved him as the bullets tore through Annunciation Catholic Church.
And I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me but he got hit.
Weston thought he felt gunpowder on his neck. It was actually a bullet fragment that is lodged dangerously close to his carotid artery. Surgeons will remove it tomorrow. His friend Victor has been released from the hospital and is recovering at home. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
One of the biggest food companies on the planet is splitting into two. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger says on the move by Kraft Heinz.
The split is meant to boost sales so that the company can focus on each of the distinct brands within the umbrella of each of these two distinct companies.
One brand will focus on Heinz ketchup and more, the other Oscar Mayer. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. Illinois State Police say 3 people were injured overnight in a crash that forced the closure of all southbound 55 lanes at East St. Louis. The accident took place about 1:45. Troopers say a wrong-way driver's car struck another vehicle head-on and pushed it underneath a tractor-trailer. Roger Brand will have the latest on those lingering traffic effects in just a bit here on KMOX. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has called a special session to begin Wednesday to redraw the state's congressional map, giving Republicans another seat and making it harder for voters to amend the Constitution. What can Democrats do?
Fleeing the state is not an option like it was for Texas Democrats, with the Republican majority large enough to establish a quorum in Missouri. Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck says they could filibuster, but he is concerned Republicans would end all debate by calling for a previous question. He says it is hard to trust Republicans.
People say, well, you're going to try to make a deal with them. Like, who do I make a deal with? Because there's nobody I trust. There's nobody to trust. They lied to us.
Minority Whip Brian Williams hopes they are allowed to debate these proposals, saying the initiative petition proposal hurts voters.
Government should be empowering voters, should be giving Missourians the opportunity to make sure their voices are heard through the democratic process. And right now they're being silenced.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
City police say a man was shot dead in the Penrose neighborhood Monday evening. That's near Interstate 70 in North St. Louis. The shooting occurred in the 4400 block of Marcus just after 6. Homicide detectives have been assigned to the case.
We want to make sure we're setting people up for success so they don't reoffend.
That is Missouri's new director of the State Public Defender's Office, Matthew Kroll. He tells Missouri Net the main challenge they're facing is retention of attorneys, and more funding is needed for mitigation specialists
who go into a case and they get to know the client and they get to find out what their issues are and how we can help them overcome those issues. So a lot of times clients have issues with driver's licenses. They've been suspended. We can help sometimes get their license reinstated, which will help them to avoid getting another charge.
Kroll says many of their clients suffer from substance abuse issues, so mitigation specialists are great at getting them into treatment programs throughout the state. An autopsy planned today on a body found Sunday afternoon in the Black River near Poplar Bluff. The Butler County Coroner's Office says foul play is not suspected, but they'd like to find out what led up to 47-year-old Antonio Atkins' death. We're told a fisherman discovered the Portageville native's body. 7 people were killed, at least 48 injured in shootings over Labor Day weekend in Chicago. It comes as President Trump continues to highlight violence in the nation's third largest city.
Chicago had been seeing a decline in violent crime, but several shootings this long weekend brought an increase over last year when 31 people were shot. There were 3 mass shootings this holiday weekend, 2 in Bronzeville and 1 in Humboldt Park. Arthur Larigo, a professor of criminal justice and psychology at Loyola University, tells CBS News Chicago this could give President Trump justification.
We don't have a need for a national presence here, but this past weekend is going to be the precipitant to give Trump the opportunity to bring in the National Guard.
Police are questioning someone about a shooting yesterday morning in Bronzeville that wounded 5 people between the ages of 17 and 36. Officers found 4 guns at the scene near 36th and Cottage Grove. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Some international travelers may have been alarmed that Lufthansa is suspending flights between St. Louis and Frankfurt, Germany in February, but the airline will more than make up for it over the summer months. Lambert Airport Director Rhonda Hamnerbergy says Lufthansa has announced plans to add 2 more flights a week starting June 1st.
We had anticipated that it was coming. They had shared with us last year that they were extremely happy with the flight, and it was just a matter of trying to find aircraft time and getting pilot time.
The 5-day-a-week schedule will run between June and October 20th, and I'll have more on this story coming up this morning at 8:24. Now, a KMOX follow-up on the initiative that's hoping to bridge the Medicaid funding gap coming from the federal government. After the announcement of a partnership between BioSTL and Washington University to find startups with solutions to lower the cost of delivering healthcare for rural providers, Michael Calhoun called up BioSTL's Don Rubin to ask whether there's funding to attract those startups to town.
Are there financial incentives? Are there investors, I guess, that are lined up? And I'm kind of thinking about what has happened at the state level with MTC, kind of what's,
Yeah. So of course we work with MTC, Missouri Technology Corporation, very closely. I'm the longest serving board member. In fact, I've been on that board for 20 years, and it's done amazing things in supporting startups and our local entrepreneur infrastructure. And that will remain important. In this case, we're talking about accessing innovation from anywhere in the world, attracting it to St. Louis because of what we have here, our ecosystem, our quality of life, the cost of living. I like to call that the capital efficiency. An innovator who comes to St. Louis can get so much further with their startup.
Rubin says it could further make St. Louis a health tech hub. It's 8:08.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I had heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in, less than a week, the whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody could believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, and we've had all kinds of problems on the roads this morning. Let's get more now from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the most recent one, Megan, is going to be this crash on northbound 270. It's about midway between Doherty Ferry and Manchester. 2 left lanes are still shut down. North 270 is slow at 55, and it jams as you approach 44 up to that crash scene. South 270 Page down to Ladue, still kind of busy. Eastbound 70, still some slow stuff from 94 all the way into the airport. It's a jam, actually, by the time you get to the Rock Road. That crash at Natural Bridge, the newest one, we've had 2 there today. The newest one, eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge, blocking the left lane. Eastbound 364 from K through Gudermuth is heavy. From 94 Mugi over to almost 141 is kind of busy. Eastbound 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and then east of there through Winghaven is heavy. Through the Chesterfield Parkways, and again from 270 on and in through the Inner Belt. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Big Bend is slow. Eastbound 44 from Lindbergh all the way in through Elm. We had a report of an incident there. It's just slow, not jammed, though. In pockets on northbound 55, they cleared the crash at Butler Hill, so now the traffic's north of Lindbergh up to River de Pere where it's jammed, and 44 from 55 downtown past the Musial Veterans Bridge is slow. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a shower or two in the area this morning. Otherwise, intervals of clouds and sun today with a high of 84.
Mainly clear tonight, though 62. Tomorrow, sunshine will fade beyond increasing clouds. A breezy, very warm afternoon, high 87. Look for a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow night. Thursday, partly to mostly sunny and not as warm, but a nice day, the high 76. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we do have cloudy skies, 64 degrees in Florissant. It is 63 in St. Peter, 64 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Late last year, the Missouri Botanical Garden launched a new project using artificial intelligence to digitize plant data. Let's get an update now from Matthew Austin, curator of biodiversity data at the Missouri Botanical Garden.
We were really fortunate at the Missouri Botanical Garden to get an anonymous donation of $14.4 million to digitize our entire herbarium, which is a collection of dried plant specimens collected from around the world from throughout the past several centuries. And we have around 8 million specimens in our collection. We're one of the largest herbaria in the world. So this project is digitizing everything, and it's also using some new technology, primarily AI, to build tools to automatically identify specimens in our collection.
When you look at the value of what you have there and all of these specimens, and I'm not talking like a monetary value, but value to the world, what you have contained right there.
Yeah, it is just an incredibly, incredibly valuable collection. Herbaria are really our best resource for documenting what plant species occur on Earth and where you can find them. There are people estimate that out of the total number of plant species that occur on Earth, around 50% of them are currently unknown to science. And of those, we estimate that half of those, so 50% of the 50% of unknown plant species, are currently reside in herbaria as specimens just waiting to be named and described. So this is an incredibly valuable collection. People are also using herbaria for new applications like studying how plants are responding to climate change. So it's an incredible source of information that's valuable for plant conservation around the world.
So talk about how artificial intelligence is being used to help digitize this.
Yeah, so one of the ways that we're digitizing our collection is using a technique called reflectance spectroscopy, which is taking data on the pattern with which light is reflected off of leaves of plants. And we're using those patterns of light reflectance to train an AI model to be able to automatically identify specimens in our collection. So this type of data is, one way that we're digitizing the collection, but the model, the output from this will be used by our staff to, increase their curatorial efficiency of the collection.
Give me a sense of, for example, if human beings were to do this with some more traditional tools, how many hours would it take to be able to accomplish this task?
Oh, it would take, many, many lifetimes of work, more than I would be able to say here. The traditional way that we identify specimens in our collection is by, making use of highly skilled taxonomists. And these are people who have dedicated their life to the profession of being able to identify plants. So it takes years of schooling and, years of experience beyond that to gain expertise in only, a select number of plant groups. So what we're aiming to do is by providing a tool that can identify maybe not everything, but at least the easy specimens. We're hoping to be able to make the curators in our collection make their job more efficient, so that instead of them every week being given say 10 boxes of specimens to identify. They're given only one box, which are the specimens that the model couldn't handle and require a taxonomous eye.
So it's not replacing those taxonomists, it's just using them in a better way.
Absolutely.
Worldwide, when it comes to documenting collections like this, will this help the botanical garden then share that information?
Absolutely. We are collaborating very closely with institutions around the world who are all interested in similar techniques. We're collaborating with them to make sure that we collect our spectral reflectance data in similar ways so that, eventually we can integrate data across institutions and develop, one like master identification model that any herbaria anywhere in the world uses for, a first pass of identifying specimens in their collection.
How would it help humanity if we could identify even a portion of that 50% that's out there that we think has not been identified?
Yeah, it would be huge. We can only conserve what we know. So any species that are not yet known to science, we can't conserve simply because they're invisible to us. And these are species that might have really important properties for human health and well-being. They might be plants that have important medicinal benefits or would be important agriculturally. But until we have put names to them and know what they are, we can't work with them in any capacity.
Do you think this will get to a point, for example, where someone could take some kind of device out in the field and immediately identify new species?
That is the goal. Because we have 8 million specimens in our collection, it can serve as an incredible reference library for identifying plants from around the world. And one thing that we're interested in is whether you can use a reference library based on dried plant material for identifying living plants in the field. We think it's possible, but there will be some work to get there. But if that is the case, then people would be able to take a device with them, outside, out into the field, take a quick scan of a plant and get an idea about what species it is. And whenever you use this model for identifying a plant, it will give you a confidence score. Essentially, how confident is the model in its prediction? And if the confidence score is pretty low, the model says, here's what I think it is, but I'm only 10% confident in this guess. That probably points to, it could be a species that is yet known to science. It could be a species that is still to be described.
That is Matthew Austin, curator of biodiversity data at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Still ahead this hour on KMOX. If your health insurance company denied you coverage, artificial intelligence may be able to help you fight back. Up next, Lufthansa will expand flights between St. Louis and Europe. We'll tell you more. First, though, we need to get you an update on the roads because it's been such a mess this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we still got some issues out there, Megan. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategies. One of them is this crash north 270 north at Doherty Ferry, midway up the hill to Manchester there. 2 left lanes still blocked. Traffic's backed up at Tesson Ferry to that one. South 270, Page, San Luis, still some heavy traffic there. Eastbound Highway 70 from just east of 94 across the Blanchette Bridge is slow, but it's bumper to bumper from pretty much 270 all the way into Natural Bridge because of that crash in the in the left lane, excuse me. The original one was the right lane. Right lanes are blocked by a crash. Westbound 70 at 94, so it's a little heavy there. If you're on eastbound 64 from east of Boone's Crossing all the way to almost Timberlake, 270 through the Interbelt's heavy. South 170 slows at Olive. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley's busy. North 55, north of Lindbergh up to River to Pear, still heavy. And 44 from 55 out onto westbound 70 downtown is still slow. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Shower or two possible this morning. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun, a high of 84. Clear tonight, a low of 62. Right now, cloudy, 64 downtown at the Arch.
Tom Ackerman here. It's time to crack open an ice-cold Budweiser on a hot day like today. Budweiser also is proud to continue a 15-year partnership with Folds of Honor. And it's always good to remember that Folds of Honor is an organization rooted in supporting military families in need. Service never stops, and neither will we. This year, proceeds from every 12-pack of Budweiser and Bud Zero sold go directly to Folds of Honor. By the way, got myself a 12-pack of Bud Zero recently. I thought, let's give Bud Zero a little try. See how that tastes. Tastes great. And it's also nice. I can pop a couple of Bud Zeros and hop in the car and go run some errands. Bud Zero, no alcohol. Budweiser is a great beer to kick back and enjoy the ball game. Budweiser is the king of beers, the delicious tradition. Budweiser, this Bud's for you.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. With full flights this summer between St. Louis and Frankfurt, Lufthansa says it will add more next summer. KMOX, I spoke with Lambert Airport Director Rhonda Homnerbergy about what it signals.
We had anticipated that it was coming. They had shared with us last year that they were extremely happy with the flight, and it was just a matter of trying to find aircraft time and getting pilot time. So, we were notified last week, toward the end of the week, that they would be announcing it and putting in their schedule for last night. So we're just thrilled.
I think a lot of people were a little concerned because of the pause that they have announced they are taking in February.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, that's pretty common. I mean, February is a tough month domestically. It's a really tough month internationally. And that's not uncommon. There were a number of markets that were pulled in February next year by a lot of carriers, including other markets where Lufthansa is. So I don't think that caught us too much by surprise, but I know it is a concern for the broader pieces. What does that mean? So I think it was really good that we could come right behind that and make this announcement about going to 5 days a week, at least from June 1st through October 30th.
So it looks like it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. What does that mean for airport operations?
Well, it's great. It's a large aircraft coming in 5 days a week, so that's terrific for us. I think that, there's really no change anticipated for the airport. I mean, we service the flight 3 days a week, so now we'll be servicing it 5 days a week. So really no changes for the airport, other than it's just nice to see large aircraft coming in and out internationally.
And I guess that's about 500 more passengers a week over the summer months?
Right. So it's 255 seats a flight. So if you add an additional 2 days, we're looking at 510 passengers. And as I said, I think for the most part, every flight this summer went out full.
What's overall traffic year over year, maybe compared to last year?
Yeah, it has been strong since the very beginning, but this clearly was the strongest summer. So I think this summer our load factor in and out was 98%. I think last year was 96%, right? So, it's just consistently been an extremely good flight, other than the month of February. January is also a little light. I mean, you get that first part of January where you've got traffic coming off of New Year's, but the back end of January and February, international traffic especially drops off pretty dramatic. So you take, that 6 weeks aside, and it's just been terrific numbers from the beginning. And clearly, I think this year indicated to them that they're leaving passengers on the table, right? They're leaving passengers and revenue aside because they know that they could sell more seats if they had more flights. So.
What does this say to the overall community about the viability of an international airport in St. Louis?
Well, I think it's a good story. We've said for a long time that we thought we could support an international flight, and we think we can actually support a couple of international flights into Europe. So I think what this proved to the community and to the aviation industry, that it is a strong market, and we know it's a local market. That flight does not have connecting passengers coming in. It's purely the local market. And I think both between the business desire for businesses here doing business throughout Europe and beyond Europe, because we know that there's a lot of markets that are well beyond Europe that are served on this flight. So I think it proves that the business community and the need for international and beyond is very strong. I think it also proves that there's a market for leisure demand. And if there's nonstop service, we know that leisure demand grows. It's been proven over and over. So I think that's good. We certainly want to thank the community for supporting it, because if it's not supported, obviously, not only will it not survive, we wouldn't have had the added service. So it's extremely important that people recognize the gratitude we owe this community, both leisure and business, for supporting it.
That is St. Louis Lambert International Airport Director Rhonda Homnebergy joining us on KMOX. It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Last year, I shared our family's journey of caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's. Then I had a chance to meet scores of other families who are taking those same steps at the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. They raised more than $1.3 million last year for Alzheimer's care support and research programs. They walk not only for their own loved ones, but also for better outcomes for themselves and their families in the decades to come. And I hope you will join us this year, Saturday, October 25th. It's at Chesterfield Amphitheater in Central Park. And the fight against Alzheimer's now really is the moment that we've been waiting for, because there are so many new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's and all other dementia. So now is the time for hope, and now is the time for action. Join us at the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 25th at Chesterfield Amphitheater. Help us see a world without Alzheimer's. You can register today at alz.org/walk. Again, that is alz.org/walk.
Within the cities we call home, Busey Bank is more than a name. It's a commitment to your dreams. With Busey, trusted guidance is tailored to empower you every step of the way. Whether it's seamlessly managing your finances or planning for your future, Busey is dedicated to your financial success. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Let's get an update on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got some issues out there, Megan. With traffic reports, the service of Duke's Mayonnaise. They're working a crash. It's in the split, North 55 at the 270 exit, but they are blocking the right lane in North 55 there right now for it. So the right lanes are just a little busy at that point. It's still slow from Union Road up to River to Pear, 44 downtown from Park out on the 70 around the Musel Veterans Bridge, still busy. We have a jam North 270 from Tesson Ferry up through 44, just north of 44. Looks like maybe a new incident there. They cleared the crash we had at Doherty Ferry, but it's still slow in that Big Bend Doherty Ferry area all the way up to Ladue. Traffic's just unwinding through that area. If you're on eastbound 64, the worst of it is east of Lindbergh. Stop and go pockets into west of McKnight because of an incident we had there. Westbound 64, west of Hampton to Big Bend, Hanley is slow. Eastbound 70, doing better, but it's still backed up. The bulk of it from east of 270 to the Natural Bridge, that crashed in the left lane. Westbound 70 at 94, right lanes are blocked by a crash. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
A mix of sun and clouds today, high 84 degrees. Right now, cloudy skies 64 downtown at the Arch. Congress returns this week from its August recess, staring down a deadline to fund the government and avert a possible shutdown by month's end. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian joins us this morning from Washington, D.C. When we look at how this budget battle is likely to shape up, Nicole, where do things stand right now?
Yeah, it's not shaping up too well right now, but hope springs eternal that lawmakers will be able to reach an agreement by the end of the month. But look, where we stand right now is you have Democratic leaders who have been calling for a meeting with their GOP counterparts to sit down and try to hammer things out. They insist this has to be done in a bipartisan way, but so far there is no meeting on the books for congressional leaders. In the meantime, congressional appropriators are continuing their work on a series of different funding bills, but typically you need 12 appropriations bills passed to fund the government. So that's unlikely to happen, which means some type of short-term fix may be warranted in the interim.
Well, and I guess in the Senate, they need, 7 Democrats to chime in, and the DNC chair is saying, no, maybe we should let the government shut down to protest some White House policies.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of posturing that's going on right now, and, trust is really at a low right now between both parties. Many Democrats are kind of skittish to make any kind of deal with Republicans because they're concerned that the White House could potentially claw back funds. You may recall right before the recess, we saw Congress pass what's called a rescissions package, where they passed a series of funding cuts. And then just last week, the White House did what's called a pocket rescission, where they clawed back or attempted to claw back about $5 billion in foreign aid that was congressionally appropriated. And that's not sitting well even with some Republicans as well, particularly those on the appropriations committees who believe that Congress does have the power of the purse. So they believe that the administration should continue to carry out its wishes there. So there's just a lot of mistrust on all sides, which is why it could be very hard to broker some type of deal to fund the government.
And it could be a long month, so I'm sure we'll be talking with you again.
It will be. I look forward to it, though.
All right. That is CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian joining us this morning from Washington, D.C. We've got Your Money Report next.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family, my retirement, my estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestatematters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
8:37 at Total Information AM. It's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. This report is sponsored by Fidelity. Investors will get a lot of economic data this week in the lead up to the August employment report Friday. Economists think about 75,000 jobs were added last month. Forecasts may be fine-tuned as we go through the week, and that has the price of gold hitting a record, punching through $3,500. The latest run has been fueled by expectations the central bank will lower interest rates this month after Fed Chair Jerome Powell cautiously opened the door to a reduction. President Trump is reportedly thinking about declaring a national housing emergency. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling the Washington Examiner that housing affordability will be a crucial part of the GOP platform for next year's midterm elections. He said the administration is trying to figure out what it can do without stepping into the business of local governments. On Wall Street, stocks pulled back ahead of the long holiday weekend. Friday losses for the major averages ranging from 0.2% to 1.2%. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman's Summer Living, Outdoor Living, Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Fence and deck in their name. Beautiful fences, great materials, great staff, good people. The showroom in Chesterfield Valley will show you that variety of fence or deck that you want to put in, but they have more than that. Patios, pergolas, sunrooms, retaining walls, and more from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. How about an outdoor kitchen? How about an outdoor fireplace? Maybe a great place to just kick back and unwind during the summer and have a cup of coffee and a newspaper read, which is what I do often on the weekends. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do that for you. ChesterfieldFence.com. When you mention me, Tom Ackerman, you'll get 48 months interest-free financing from your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey guys, Clever here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Coming up, we're going to tell you about a company that claims it can help you appeal health insurance denials in minutes using artificial intelligence. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I still got some issues out there, Megan. This traffic report's a service of FanDuel Sports Network. One of them, though, they just cleared just like a minute ago. Eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge. All lanes are open there. It's jammed back to the Rock Road, though. It'll take a few minutes for it to thin out. And they're also working a new crash. This one's eastbound 64 just before McKnight. The left lane's blocked. Traffic's bumper to bumper at 270 up to that one. Working a crash westbound 70 at the 94 exit. White lane's blocked. It's slow at 5th Street. North 55 at the 270 exit. They were trying to wrap up an earlier crash. North 270 a little backed up at Gravel. It could be an incident there. And then 44 all the way to Ladue is busy. Northbound 55 still a little slow. Coming up from Bayless to River to Pear. Cardinals FanDuel Sports Network is your TV and streaming home of the Cardinals. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals or watch through your TV provider. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sun today. High 84 degrees. Clear tonight. A low of 62. Currently cloudy skies. 64 downtown at the Arch. You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. If you have ever had a healthcare expense denied by your insurance, you know how complicated it is to try and appeal. A new startup is using artificial intelligence to help you in that fight. With me now, Neil Shaw, chairman of Counterforce Health. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me, Megan. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, what led you to launch Counterforce Health?
Yeah, I'd say, a couple of things. One, I've been through this journey of fighting the health insurance companies, personally. During my wife's multi-year cancer battle, I was the advocate fighting several health insurance denials for everything from access to critical therapies to hospitalizations to surgery bills to emergency visits. And it was infuriating, like at various times when you're kind of like, in the middle of a serious illness battle, it's adding insult to injury, to fight health insurance denials. But also later professionally, I now run a very large nationwide caregiving platform, helping middle-aged people care for aging parents, mostly with dementia care. And I see that so many family caregivers are drowning in fighting health insurance denials.
How does the platform work?
The way it works is pretty simple. You just go to the site, counterforcehealth.org, and you upload anything relevant. So usually a denial letter from your insurance company, your policy coverage document, and then any relevant background information if you have accessible, such as your health record or any kind of notes from the doctor's visits or anything like that. It takes what normally would be a manual process of like 8 to 10 hours of like reading through all the documents, parsing research journals, et cetera. And it does all that for you. Like the AI system has optical character recognition, so it'll kind of scan through any documents you've uploaded, whether they're typed or handwritten. It'll ping the relevant medical literature and databases of research journals. It'll ping billing code databases to fix any kind of errors in how something might have been coded. And then it will basically write research and output a fully crafted appeals letter that's as robust as if you had like a brother or sister that was a doctor that sat down for 8 hours and did it for you manually. And it'll do that in 2 minutes, and it's free.
So having you explain all that, the first maybe red flag, and maybe that's not fair, but the first thing I think of is data and health privacy. How do you cover that?
Yeah, great question. I appreciate you asking. So we actually keep it like very anonymized. So there's different options you can choose. And if you choose the most private option, it simply slows it down slightly. But by slow, I mean it goes from 2 minutes to like 4 minutes. And the way that works is it's a HIPAA compliant tool. And it would fully de-identify and scrub all the data on your computer or laptop. So by the time it's sent to the server, your name and any identifying information has been fully extracted, just kind of the background on what's being denied. And then all that is processed, it's put back into your computer, and then the data is re-identified on your machine. So that way the servers don't see any of the data. So, there are like fully compliant versions, and then they're just slightly slower in terms of processing time.
Are you worried that insurance companies will get wise to this and find ways to counteract it through their own algorithms?
Yes, and they've already been doing it. I think part of the reason for creating the tool is that I think most people don't know that insurance companies have already weaponized AI. And I wrote a book about this because I'm like very obsessed about the topic. And it's called Insured to Death, how health insurance screws over Americans and how we take it back. And really the whole premise of the book was in the last 2 to 3 years, as AI technology first emerged, the insurers started weaponizing it against patients and against clinics. And it's now our whole purpose and mission in building these tools is just to level the playing field. Up until recently, and up until patients or doctors found out about tools like this, it was like the other side is fighting with machine guns and you're fighting back with a knife. Like there's no chance. So our goal is like, how do we arm people with this new technology?
What documented success do you have among people who have tried this?
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of success, over 70% success rate so far on thousands of appeals. Tons of people are getting access to essential therapies. I think there's a lot of, interestingly enough, there's a lot of cancer patients who are accessing therapies that got denied. I mean, that's like probably one of the most saddest stories that we see, and also one of the biggest positive social impacts, through our work. But we're also helping people. I mean, there's also people of all different backgrounds using it. There's a lot of people are being denied the GLP-1 medications right now, that are people with diabetes that are trying to take these to manage their illness. So I'd say across all backgrounds, but probably the most like impactful or, kind of like absolutely essential things we see are cancer care and post-stroke recovery.
Where do you see this going in the future?
Good question. I mean, I think the next step is it's mostly a patient-facing tool that in recent months, like last couple of months, a lot of clinics have started using. And I think that's something completely unexpected. Like we initially built it just to help and empower individual people to fight back. We did not realize, I mean, I guess in hindsight, should be obvious, but how big of a problem this is for small medical practices. And I think that the next phase is likely that we're trying to learn more about those unmet needs. And we're trying to serve a lot more practices because, one individual patient hearing about this, of course, they'll use it and that's great for them. But most people, if they're lucky, they might only be dealing with one denial every once a year or two. But when a practice hears about this, they'll be using it 50 times, 100 times a week because they're dealing with all their patients' denials. And in some clinical specialties, like in neurology, an average of 20% of claims are denied. So just think about like if you're running a small medical practice in neurology and you're seeing like a few hundred patients a month, across a handful of physicians, you're probably dealing with like hundreds of denials every month. And I think that's like a cool opportunity. So I think my hope for the project in the next few months is to help a lot more clinics, help rural hospitals. We've had outreach inbound from rural hospitals that are also drowning in this stuff. So I think that would be awesome because I think that these are some of the reasons that people cannot practice healthcare anymore independently because the administrative burden is too great.
Neil, thank you so much. Appreciate your time on this.
Thanks, Megan, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
That is Neil Shaw with Counterforce Health. He says they're able to keep the platform free thanks to grants from the University of Pennsylvania and the National Institutes of Health. Coming up, why are we so intrigued by celebrity slop we see online? I'll talk to Webster University media instructor Julie Smith next.
Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1st. Download now and place a $5 bet when we go live. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KMOX to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
The legendary sound of the Doobie Brothers is rolling into town. Don't miss the show. Coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, September 4th, with special guest, the Coral Reefer Band. It's a night of timeless hits, epic harmonies, and classic rock energy like only the Doobies can deliver. Tickets are still available and can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, head to KMOX.com/events.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with the Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros, just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Be careful you aren't served a heaping helping of celebrity slop. Joining us to tell us why is Julie Smith. She is a media instructor at Webster University, also speaks internationally about media issues, and is an author as well. Julie, what is celebrity slop?
Well, first of all, it's just a really fun phrase.
It
Isn't
is.
it? Celebrity slop. Celebrity slop is when false accounts on social media platforms will generate AI versions of celebrities and create stories about them, like Phil Collins is dying, or Bruce Springsteen isn't good with kids, or something like that, to increase engagement. So they're hoping that nobody really pays attention to the message and just engages with that post so that they can earn followers, increase their engagement, and then monetize their accounts. It always comes back to the money, Megan. It always comes back to the money. But we're so obsessed with celebrities, it's really a smart tactic.
It is a smart tactic. And I think for probably some people, they probably don't follow those celebrities closely enough, like to know if it's crazy or not.
Right.
Because celebrities do kind of nutty things sometimes.
And it can be very current events oriented. Like there was a really, really popular piece of celebrity slop talking about Stephen Colbert starting a new television show after his show was canceled, which it sounds plausible, right? It sounds plausible. Well, that got 200,000 reactions in like the first hour, even though there was no truth to it. And so a lot of people are making a lot of money on our ignorance.
Talk about the technical aspect of this. How does this end up in our feeds or in front of our faces?
If we have clicked on anything that's remotely similar to any of the celebrities being used, the algorithm knows that. We have to remember that the whole point, that the smartest people in the world are on the other side of that screen trying to make sure that we never log off and never leave. So they're going to continually feed us what we have already told the algorithm that we like. So on YouTube, for example, it could be a video that we've watched all the way through, or something that we've liked or shared. Anything that we've liked on TikTok, the algorithms know us probably better than we know ourselves. And so they know exactly how to steer us in particular directions.
So basically, there's a computer program that is continually surfing what people are doing online and on apps. And then it turns around and selects information and drops it in their feeds,
and gives you more of what you want. I mean, think of it like when you log on to Amazon, your Amazon landing page is different from every other person's in the world. Your Spotify page is different from every other person's in the world. Your YouTube page is different from every other person's in the world. And that's because the algorithm knows you so well and knows what you like. And that's the whole point of it.
What is the real danger
with celebrity slop? I feel like the real danger is the fact that we just consume slop, for lack of a better term, without any critical thought at all. That we're not doing any of the lateral reading to see if these stories that we see about celebrities are actually true. And plus, I think there's danger in just worshiping whatever celebrities do.
When we talk about this content, then I find that people share it or they talk about it or, and so it just kind of perpetuates, even if it's not the algorithms doing it.
Right. And there's a term called performative sharing, where we tend to share things online as a way of showing someone that we knew something before they did, sharing as an act of performance. And I think that celebrity slop really plays into that, especially if you can look like you knew something about a celebrity before someone else did.
Do you think that if more people knew how they were being manipulated, and we phrased it that way, that these things are manipulating you. They're manipulating you at your basic, like, human level, the things that drive you as a human being. Do you think that would set off more alarm bells for people?
I don't know if people would care.
Because it's entertaining?
Well, yeah, and it's stuff that I like. Like, I know that Instagram manipulates me because it only gives me ads for bags and shoes, and it knows that I'm a dog person, right? And so, yes, I'm being manipulated, but it also means I never see anything I don't like to see. So it's a comfortable manipulation, I guess, is one way to put it. And I can see why people wouldn't really care.
Now, you mentioned lateral reading. I've had these discussions in my own family with my kids about, okay, so I need to do lateral reading, but how do I know other sources are reputable and factual?
Well, that's a tricky question.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I would see if at least a handful of mainstream or reputable, I'm using air quotes, reputable news organizations are covering the same story. If no one is covering the story about Phil Collins dying or Stephen Colbert's new show, that's a red flag, right? But I think you just have to take everything with a grain of salt and dig around. But that takes time and effort. And we're scrolling 300 feet a day, and nobody really wants to take the time to dig around.
Wow. Julie, thank you so much. Always appreciate you coming in.
Oh, you bet.
That is Julie Smith, Webster University media instructor, joining us this morning on KMOX.
On the show today, we will talk about a new 911 system in Jefferson County. Also, the Cardinals continued their series tonight against the A's. The Chiefs are opening up their season this week. We have Dane and Hughes and a visit with Dave Simons. We'll get your finances right on the Chris and Amy show right after the news on KMOX.
When it comes to retirement planning, it pays to have a solid plan in place because, for example, earlier this year when the stock market was doing crazy things and plummeting, a lot of people panicked and they started moving all kinds of things around and converting to gold or doing whatever. Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial says we did learn, at least hopefully many people did, that that's not a good idea because
where we sit today, the market is as high as it's ever been. Most people have more money in their 401k today than they did in January.
Are you doing all the things to optimize your retirement savings? I didn't realize there were things I could be doing with my Social Security right now to make the most of it. I always have questions for Jeff Sachs. And if you do, by all means, get in touch with Jeff Sachs.